Hey, what up, everybody? I hope all of y'all is having a blessed and humble day. I hope all of y'all continue to have a blessed and humble day.
Nora, we begin tonight with the desperate search for that missing submersible vessel. It was carrying 5 passengers and disappeared during an expedition to the sunken wreckage of the Titanic. Coast Guard officials say they have detected underwater noises for the second straight day. The sounds, which have been described as banging noises, have given rescuers hope, but they admit they don't know the source of the noises. Now, more ships and other vessels are being moved into the area to assist in what authorities are still calling a search and rescue operation, including a robot capable of reaching the ocean floor more than 2 miles down. If those on board are still alive, time is clearly running out. It's believed the passengers might only have enough oxygen to survive until Thursday morning. CBS's Roxana Saberi will start us off tonight from Boston. Good evening, Roxana.
Good.
Hey, what up, everybody? I hope all of y'all is having a blessed and humble day. I hope all of y'all continue to have a blessed and humble day. I apologize, for starting this late. I was actually supposed to do this live last night, but Shorty was feeling, a little so I couldn't really do the podcast. But I want to take a minute real quick. I wanted to pause that. I want to welcome everybody to the Writers for Life brings you the Let's Talk About It podcast. And that's what we're going to do today. Today is going to be an open panel, and we're going to talk about it. Let's talk about the missing submarines. This is you see how many fingers I'm putting up. This is part 3 of the missing sub, the secret of the Jekyll Island, and the Titanic. Is there a distraction? Today we will also be talking about, I'm so sorry, the Tainos and the Arawak tribe. I gotta fix this real quick. So let me play the rest of this clip real quick while I finish editing this. Guys, let me know what y'all think. Let me know how y'all feel. And I'm gonna drop the link in a little bit so that, for those of you that do wanna come up to the panel and talk, y'all more than welcome to give y'all perspective and y'all opinions.
Good evening, Jerika. Search teams today battled tough conditions, wind gusts of up to 30 miles per hour and 7-foot waves. But the Coast Guard says they're still treating this as a search and rescue operation.
There have been multiple reports of noises.
The underwater banging sounds detected by Canadian planes for a second day are sparking flickers of hope in the search for the missing submersible. A team of experts is trying to figure out where they're coming from.
Human sounds, nature sounds, and it's very difficult to discern what the source of those noises are at times.
The Coast Guard also can't rule out the sounds could be coming from the Titanic itself.
It's the wreck site of the Titanic, so there is a lot of metal and different objects in the water around this site.
The search area is now 2 times the size of Connecticut and up to 2.5 miles deep, deeper than stacking nearly 9 Empire State Buildings. With potentially just hours to go before the Titan's 5 passengers run out of oxygen, at least 8 more rescue ships are joining the international effort, and a French deep diving robot that can operate on the ocean floor is set to arrive tonight.
This is a search and rescue mission, 100%. We are smack dab in the middle of search and rescue.
Search teams are unsure if the vessel is sitting on the bottom of the ocean, where the conditions are near freezing and pitch black.
You're trying to find a special rock that might look like a rock on a sonar system.
Captain David Marquet was the naval commander of the submarine USS Santa Fe.
I think the most likely scenario, unfortunately, is they will not be found in time.
OceanGate, whose CEO and founder Stockton Rush was piloting the submersible, has faced criticism. According to 2018 court filings, a former employee said he was fired after voicing concerns about the Titan, saying it posed potential danger to passengers as it reached extreme depths. The same year, engineer Bart Kemper signed a draft letter from the Marine Technology Society, warning OceanGate that its submersible hadn't passed safety standards.
This is not a tourist submarine. It follows no code and follows no jurisdiction.
In court documents filed this April, OceanGate said its submersible was capable of diving the depth to the Titanic site with what it called a comfortable safety margin. Jerika, even if rescue crews find the Titan, it would still be a challenge to bring it to the surface.
All right, Roxana Saberi, thank you.
The Vibe by Design is more flexible, more cost-effective, and more timely than any other product in the industry. It's a vertical post and panel.
All right, guys, let's talk about it, right? So for the past couple of weeks, they've been talking about the Titanic, the missing submarine, how they, supposedly wanted to be the first people to explore, right? The underwater, the sea, to see what it was like. So as y'all can see that clip right there, they've been searching since since that Wednesday already. It's been already 2 weeks, I think already, that they've been talking about the missing submarine and much more. Guys, when we did the last 2 lives, I told y'all all this was done. Damn, that's from knocking. My hands are like this from knocking. Like, I want to take a minute real quick and apologize for me being late. Like I said, I know this live was supposed to be done last night and this morning, but I am a block captain, and there is going to be a block party today, and I had to sit here and assist one of the neighbors in closing the block, so that took me a little minute earlier. So I do apologize for the delay, but I want to thank everybody that has, sat here and shown a shorty support. Thank y'all so much. Thank you for rocking out. But let's get back on topic real quick. I told y'all before, I did the live. We spoke on the secrets of Jekyll Island. The reasons why they. Hold on 1 second. So I got a video that I want to show y'all next. All right, so we spoke about the reasons why they came up with, Federal Reserve and much more. Let me make this full screen bigger. Nope, it covers up my whole screen. Hold on 1 second. So I'm gonna play this, right? And if anybody has an opinion, anybody has anything to say, let me know. Y'all more than welcome to come up, hop up on the panel a little bit and speak, give y'all opinions, y'all perspectives if y'all wish, and much more. But like I've told y'all before, this to me is nothing more than just a distraction. Listen, I don't know how y'all feel, but I'm today part 3 of the secrets of Jekyll Island and much more. We're gonna talk about it. Y'all catch up to the last 2 lives, y'all will find out about the Federal Reserve, how it came about, and much more. Blessings, Lesby, Journey. Blessings, Rachel tapping in from work. We'll catch the replay. Thank you so much for the support, Lesby. Thank you. Blessings. Hope you have a good day at work today. So we're gonna tap on today. Let me see. Did I share the video? No, not yet. Let's share the video. Let's share. Here we go. Let's see how it looks over here. So I'm hoping that y'all can see the screen. Right now, there's nobody on here, but if anybody does come, hopefully y'all, let me know if y'all can see the screen real good. But let's press play because I want y'all to hear what he's saying. This is this article is called June 22nd, 2023. Missing Titanic subcrew killed after catastrophic implosion. Right? And here's my biggest questions to everybody before I play this video. The little submarine exploded the way it did, blah, 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 right? And it couldn't withhold pressure. How, in the world, underneath water, right, where it washes everything, they say they allegedly found human remains. So let's watch this, and then I'll keep giving my perspective and my opinion.
You have in many ways under the sea. I'm wondering what is going on this. James, I appreciate you joining us. Someone who's devoted his life to exploration as you have in many ways under the sea. I'm wondering what is going through your mind tonight.
Well, thanks, Anderson. I mean, obviously, we're all kind of heartsick from the outcome of this, and I've been living with it for a few days now, as some of my other colleagues in the deep submergence community. I was out on a ship myself when the event happened on Sunday. The first I heard of it was Monday morning. I immediately got on my network because it's a very small community in the deep submergence group. And found out some information within about a half hour that they had lost comms and they had lost tracking simultaneously. The only scenario that I could come up with in my mind that could account for that was an implosion, a shockwave event so powerful that it actually took out a secondary system that has its own pressure vessel and its own battery power supply, which is the transponder that the ship uses to track where the sub is. So I was thinking implosion then. That's Monday morning. I got on the horn again with some other people, tracked down some intel that was probably of a military origin, although it could have been research, because there are hydrophones all over the Atlantic, and got confirmation that there was some kind of loud noise consistent with an implosion event. That seemed to me enough confirmation that I let all of my inner circle of people know that we had lost our comrades, and I encouraged.
So yes, I know I was right. That's James Cameron, the director of the Titanic. He's giving his opinion, his perspective on the missing submarine.
Everybody to raise a glass in their honor on Monday. Then I watched over the ensuing days this whole sort of everybody running around with their hair on fire search, knowing full well that it was futile, hoping against hope that I was wrong, but knowing in my bones that I wasn't. And so it certainly wasn't a surprise today. And I just feel terrible for the families that had to go through all these false hopes that kept getting dangled, as it played out.
All right. So like I said in the last two lives, and it's crazy how he confirms this right here with what he just said. On them last two lives, I said it. Listen, I felt like my condolences go to the families of the people that lost their lives in this little mini submarine, right? But these people that got into the submarine knew what they was doing. They knew what they was getting into. They signed a waiver. They knew that they was going to lose their lives. Not just that, but the person that invented the submarine knew what was going on. He ignored. Let me see if they got it. I think they might talk about it on one of these. Let me see. Do I have it on one of these? All right, I'm about to see. Let's see. Here's the audio. Maker of Missing. Let me see what's up. Let's take it over here. All right, so I'm gonna have to put it over here real quick. Let me see. Y'all got a video, so I don't have to read. I had all this ready. Like, I hate when this happens. Hey, y'all gonna get like that though? All right, so I'm about to show y'all a video of the guy that made the submarine ocean. Let me see. Damn, I just lost it. I'm over here. His name's Stock and Rush. Yo, these little ads are long as shit. No. We really gotta wait for the ad? Let me show this screen real quick. Come on, weirdo. See, the little distraction I had earlier messed everything up. My back is killing me.
Coordinated search efforts with the U.S. Since Sunday. The Coast Guard has coordinated search efforts with the U.S. and Canadian Coast Guard, Air National Guard aircraft, and the Polar Prince, which have searched a combined 7,600 square miles, an area larger than the state of Connecticut. These search efforts have focused on both surface, with C-130 aircraft searching by sight and with radar, and subsurface, with P3 aircraft were able to drop and monitor sonar buoys. To date, those search efforts have not yielded any results. The data we were using as a starting point was 96 hours. We know at this point we're approximately about 41 hours. 41 hours left. Yes, correct.
All right, so no, that didn't. See what happened. What's up? All right, let's see if this is the one. There's one video I was looking at. I had everything set up. I'm irked right now, but hey, let's do this. There's a video where they gave the person that, made the little submarine a warning. He warned that they shouldn't have, put the submarine out there. They shouldn't have had people on board, but they still went on with it. The bull said he don't care.
For that missing sub with 5 people. Overnight, word that a Canadian aircraft detected underwater noises in the search area for that missing sub with 5 people on board, according to the U.S. Coast Guard. But subsequent searches coming up empty as the clock winds down. The vessel, which left Sunday morning on a mission to explore the Titanic's wreckage, starting with 96 hours of oxygen available. Now, less than 24 hours left.
Our crews are working around the clock to ensure that we are doing everything possible to locate the Titan and the 5 crew members.
The U.S., Canada, and France teaming up to search for any sign of the submersible, scouring more than 10,000 miles of sea. Air Force aircrafts flying in from Buffalo, New York, and the Navy sending a portable lift system designed to recover heavy sunken objects.
Getting salvage equipment on scene is a top priority. There is a full court press effort to get equipment on scene as quickly as we can.
These photos, some of the last images taken of the group and OceanGate's Titan vessel Sunday morning before it entered the water. It was last heard from an hour and 45 minutes into its dive, but OceanGate not sounding the alarm for another several hours. The Coast Guard saying they then activated rescue crews immediately. All 5 people inside the sub now identified: British explorer and billionaire Hamish Harding, businessman Shahzada Dawood and his 19-year-old son Suleiman, world-renowned Titanic researcher and diver P.H. Narjule, and the CEO of OceanGate, Stockton Rush. He showed off the boat's features in a...
See, the CEO, Stockton Rush, he was warned about the dangers of putting people on board of this submarine. He just didn't give a fuck.
CBS Sunday Morning interview 6 months ago.
I got these from Camper World. We run the whole thing with this game controller. The pressure vessel is not MacGyver at all, because that's where we work with Boeing and NASA and the University of Washington. Everything else can fail. Your thrusters can go, your lights can go, you're still going to be safe.
The University of Washington telling ABC News they were not involved in the design, engineering, or testing of the Titan. NASA saying they were consulted but did not conduct testing and manufacturing via its workforce or facilities. Questions now growing about OceanGate's safety features.
Now I want y'all to hear how they said, let me go rewind it back. I want y'all to hear that part.
To the surface.
Because they can't get out. The craft has to be open from the
challenges those 5 passengers now face, even if they make it back to the surface.
Because they can't get out. The craft has to be open from the outside. So we're just really hoping they're on the top. They're bobbing.
Have knowing consent of what they're doing and understand the full expectation of what's to be expected. Lives are at stake.
Members of the committee say OceanGate did make some changes after their letter. Former passenger Aaron Newman, who traveled on the submersible in 2021,
now pay attention to what he's about to say,
insisting he felt safe at all times, but describing the challenges those 5 passengers now face, even if they make it back to the surface.
Because they can't get out. The craft has to be open from the outside. So we're just really hoping they're on the top. They're bobbing around. They're laying there, just relaxing and trying to conserve energy and oxygen.
Oh my gosh. So are we stuck or what?
Former ABC News correspondent Dr. Michael Gillen knows how dangerous the voyage to the Titanic can be. In 2000, an underwater current drove his sub right into the propeller of the Titanic.
It was pretty scary. So I'm very aware of what these poor souls on board the ship, the Titan, are experiencing, and I'm just heartbroken about it.
The timing is now absolutely critical. ABC News has confirmed that the noises heard underwater yesterday were described as banging noises heard yesterday morning.
So, as y'all can see on this video, this man right here, let me show y'all real quick. Share screen. This is who they talking about. So this is the person that, created that submarine that went out into the ocean that night to go explore and see if they could find, parts of the Titanic, as they so call it. So let's watch these little clips that they got right here of the guy, so that y'all can see where I'm coming from. So this is the man that created that little submarine that everybody's talking about. All right, so y'all can. Okay, I hope y'all can see it. Let's see. Where am I? Over here.
July 4th, a CNN concert event. The brightest fireworks and the biggest stars. Post Malone.
We're not playing the commercials. No.
To find the missing submersible that may be nearly 30. Well, as searchers try to find the missing submersible that may be nearly 13,000 feet below the surface, we want to give you some perspective on how deep underwater this vessel may be. Now, consider this. The Statue of Liberty is 305 feet tall. The Eiffel Tower, just under 1,000 feet tall. The world's tallest building, the Burj Khalifa in Dubai, is more than 2,700 feet tall. The Grand Canyon rises up to 6,000 feet tall. If you double the height of the Grand Canyon and add a little more, that's how deep underwater this missing sub may be.
All right, so let's watch the second video. And I really want y'all to leave y'all perspectives and y'all opinions. Like, do y'all think this is a distraction, or do y'all think that this is something that's just happening because of Mother Nature? Even though I showed y'all the proof of how the Federal Reserve happened the first time, and why, in a shorty's opinion, these clues right here show us that it's nothing but another distraction on what they just did. And we're going to keep talking about it real quick.
That was carrying 5 people. It was a tragic ending in the search for a submersible that was carrying 5 people touring the wreckage of the Titanic. Investigators believe a catastrophic implosion happened on Sunday, and that's when the vessel lost contact with its mothership on its journey to the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean. ABC's Rena Roy has the latest.
Days after this Titanic-bound submersible named Titan went missing deep in the Atlantic Ocean, we're learning more about what went wrong when the 5 people on board were killed, likely instantaneously.
The debris is consistent with the catastrophic loss of the pressure chamber.
A remotely operated vehicle discovering a debris field on the seafloor Thursday, including the sub's nose cone and parts of the pressure hull near the Titanic, more than 2 miles below the surface. The sub essentially collapsing inward under extreme pressure. At 12,500 feet underwater, the pressure is about 370 times the pressure at sea level.
If I had to put money down on what the fine.
So if this sub imploded, as they say, right, there shouldn't be nothing left. How in the world was they able to recover pieces? And I'm gonna show y'all that in a little bit.
Will be the Achilles heel of the sub was the composite cylinder that was the main hull that the people were inside.
Officials believe the implosion happened around the time the sub lost contact with the mothership Sunday morning. The Navy says an underwater acoustic detection system heard what was likely the implosion around that time, immediately sharing that data with the Coast Guard for analysis. Businessman Shahzada Daoud and his 19-year-old son Suleiman were among the 5 people lost.
Shahzada, my brother, he inspired in us audacity from a very young age. He was always the kind of person.
I want y'all to peep how the first time, right, it was millionaires that sank in the Titanic, and everybody just thought that it was, nothing but a romance novel because they was too busy watching the movie and they didn't do their research when it came to this. This is why I say constantly, do your own research. And this is why I love showing the videos to back up everything that I say.
Who has this incredible love for the world.
Stockton Rush, CEO of OceanGate Expeditions, which made the sub, was also on board. The company had faced scrutiny since the experimental sub was built in 2018, especially over its use of carbon fiber and titanium. Rush speaking with the Mexican actor in 2021.
I'd like to be remembered as an innovator. I've broken some rules to make this. I think I've broken them with logic and good engineering behind me. The carbon fiber and titanium, there's a rule you don't do that. Well, I did.
The Titan was the only submersible like it to never be certified. Back in 2018, a former employee had warned about.
I want you to hear how she just said, never been certified. So these 5 billionaires, millionaires, whatever y'all want to call them, got on board of a ship that they knew could have drowned. That's why they signed that waiver. That's why they signed the waiver, guys. Like, for those of y'all that are still confused and kind of curious of what's going on, listen, they knew what was going on. They knew what they were doing. They were risking their lives. Was it a sacrifice like others say? Maybe. It could be. Like, when it came to the Titanic and the Federal Reserve, allegedly, they had to make that sacrifice of the ops in order for them to pass the Federal Reserve to make the money worth something, right? What do y'all think is making any difference now? Like, y'all didn't notice the 700 migrants that, lost their lives trying to, cross the, doing what they was doing, which we will talk about that in a minute too. There's so many things like that is happening, the bills that just got passed right underneath our noses and much more.
Issues with that carbon fiber exterior, saying that tiny cracks could become bigger and bigger the farther and more often it went into extreme pressure. The wrongful termination lawsuit settled out of court.
In New York, Rena Roy for Channel 6 Action News.
This is Sadie. She's on Verizon, the network she can count on. And now she is my...
Oh, what happened? I'm gonna have to come over here. It took me off. Oh, hit the damn fan. Hold on 1 second, because it took me off the joint. Like, why would it do that? What's his name again? There we go. Damn, like, boy, trying to do these lives ain't easy, I'm telling you. Now, let's get back to the video over here. Now, this is where I want y'all to see. Where is it? Ocean Stock plane Titanic submersible. Friend of Ocean Gate's not gonna warrant Titanic. Let me see. Is it this one? I'm trying to get the right one. So let me share the screen with y'all. Share your screen, share. Oh man, these commercials. They cannot be serious about this. Yeah, they so serious about the commercials. It's not a joke. Like, are y'all serious?
Out of Alameda says OceanGate deep sea engineer out of Alameda says OceanGate's CEO ignored early warning signs that the material used to build the submersible wasn't safe. ABC 7 News reporter Lena Howland brings us this story.
Long before a Titan submersible carrying 5 people on a quest to see the Titanic wreckage lost all communications before later imploding, came the early warnings.
We all told him, someone is going to be killed in this thing, and you've got to not do it.
OceanGate CEO Stockton Rush paid a visit to Alameda back in 2015 while he was in the thick of building his submersible to meet with Liz Taylor. Taylor is a deep sea engineer
And the whole point of showing this video is to show y'all that this man was warned before and he basically didn't give a fuck. So if he didn't give a fuck, why should we? My condolences go out to that family, all the families that are related to the people that were in this submarine. But this guy was warned, and these people signed a waiver. It's like they knew that they was making a sacrifice to what? To go somewhere where, a place that has been explored before.
president of DOER Marine Operations, where they build their own submersibles. He wanted to hear her findings from a research project.
Stockton felt like he was pushing the edge. You want to push the envelope, use some new materials.
And that's when Taylor specifically advised against the use of carbon fiber, as it's still experimental and has not been tested over time in extreme depths of the ocean.
It being hollow on the inside, or just one atmosphere on the inside, and having the tremendous pressure of the ocean trying to push in on it, it just doesn't it's not the right material.
Then in 2018, the Manned Submersible Committee of the Marine Technological Society backed her up, writing a letter also urging Rush not to proceed. Ignoring all warnings, he moved forward.
So where this really went kind of askew was that it was like, I don't need that. I've done the math. I'm confident in my engineering.
Taylor says Rush cut obvious corners, like not building his sub in a pair to have self-rescue capacity, or with what's called an ROV. That's a remotely operated vehicle that can serve as a self-rescue tool.
There was no capable ROV on board. There was no second submersible.
And she says because Rush was technically operating in international waters, there was no way of stopping him.
So when this happened through this combination of hubris, complacency, and greed, it was incredibly frustrating and so sad for the families that they didn't have, maybe they just had no idea of the true level of risk that they were putting themselves at.
In Alameda, Lena Howland, ABC 7 News.
Y'all know what's crazy? She might be right. The families probably didn't know, but the CEO did, though. That's crazy. That's real crazy. That's fucked up and messed up if the CEO don't even know. But if he did warn them, then again, I can't feel bad. How many times have people visited? Let me do it again. How many times have people visited the? I'm trying to get it right. Let me see. How many times have people explored? How many people have explored the sunk ship Titanic in a submarine? Let me see. No, that's not what I want to know. How many times have people visited the sunken Titanic? They're trying to say it was the first time that man-made explored the Titanic. Nah, that's not true. Let's see. So it seems like people have, let me share what I'm seeing so that y'all can see. It seems like people have before. So let's see what they say here. It says that people have visited the ship before. Let's see. It's supposed to be a video, so come on. Okay, so I'm not signing in because this is on a actual live right now. And I'm not putting my password in nothing. So let's go here. Let's see what they got to say. I just want to see how many people have explored the, the sunken ship before.
Introducing HelloFresh's new Fresh and Fit. Designed summer menu, designed to support your wellness goals. Enjoy calorie-smart lunches and dinners under 650 calories, or boost your protein intake with protein.
Fucking weirdo. I'm doing this, guys, with y'all so that y'all can see. And this is, you know, a stepping stone for y'all, for those of y'all that want to do your own research and want to learn for yourselves about the stuff that's going on around us. Those of you that, you know, are free thinkers and don't want to keep getting played.
Rush showed a CBS team the inside of the Titan submersible. The inside of the late last year, OceanGate founder and CEO Stockton Rush showed a CBS team the inside of the Titan submersible used for the company's Titanic expeditions.
Take your shoes off. That's customary. Okay. Wow.
Inside, the sub has about as much room as a minivan.
So this is not your grandfather's submersible. We only have one button. That's it. It should be like an elevator. You know, it shouldn't take a lot of skill. We run the whole thing with this game controller.
Come on.
So that's inside the submarine that they just used to go exploring, right? What I want to see is how many times, because I had a video earlier. I saw a video earlier of them, somebody saying that that there was 8 explorations done before when it comes to the Titanic. Obviously, like if they found stuff from the Titanic and they seen it and they pulled pieces out of it before, obviously they deep dive down there. You know, Marine had been down there. Like, come on. So this shows y'all that this guy was neglectful with his submarine.
We're joined by David Gallo. He is a senior advisor for strategic initiatives with RMS Titanic Inc., the company that owns the exclusive salvage rights to the Titanic wreck site. Thank you so much for talking with us.
My pleasure, Brooke.
Now, this search and rescue effort is a desperate race against the clock, of course, to find the submersible and its crew before those oxygen supplies run out. What are your main concerns right now?
Well, I've been in this business for about 4 decades, and this is as tense as I've ever seen the community or sensed the community. It is a race against time. You're fighting oxygen levels. They should have a day or 2 more left of oxygen. Also fighting the cold if the sub is still at the bottom, because the deep ocean is just above freezing cold. So hypothermia is an issue. I think one of the biggest things, where is it? Is it on the bottom? Is it floating? Is it midwater? And that's something that hasn't been determined yet. Hopefully, with all the help that's coming to bear, it will be found fairly quickly. But that's a dangerous thing to say, because I don't know if that means a day or...
Blessings, young Rias. Blessings. I hope y'all are understanding, you know, what they're saying. Right now, I'm gonna, play this little video, but after this, I want to see the explorers that went down before and got to see the shipwreck from the Titanic and much more. Like, we know what happened with, the Ocean 8s, whatever that, the CEO and everything. Why he got in it, knowing, I guess he liked the danger.
2 days or 3 weeks, and we'll have to wait and see and hope for the best.
He didn't say much either. Just earlier, I had a whole bunch of stuff. Let's see if they're really inside the Titanic. Nope, not a good video to put. Let me see. This was in 2019. They said divers visited the Titanic's wreck for the first time. So as y'all can, wait, see? So it's saying right here that in 2019 they visited for the first time. But I know I was reading earlier where it said that, there was 8 expeditions. Was they all in 2019? I don't think so. But let's see. Let's watch the video. Give me 1 second, guys. I got to go see who's at the door. 1 second, all right?
It is a big wreck. I wasn't fully ready for just how large it was. And when it came up on sonar, it really stood out. And there was a very strong current and visibility was quite poor. There was so much particulate matter that was just in the water. And we have relatively small viewports because it's a full ocean depth submersible.
The future of the wreck is going to continue to deteriorate over time. It's a natural process. These are natural types of bacteria.
All right, that video didn't really show much. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. So they said this is 2021. All right, so this is just footage release. We don't want to see footage release. We want to hear from somebody that's actually. But even if they do got the footage release, like, let me see. This says rare footage.
And then we came in on the starboard side of beam of the bridge. And the first thing I saw coming out of the gloom at 30 feet was this wall, this giant wall of riveted steel that rose over.
All right, so right here, this is video right here proves that they've done this before, that this isn't the first time.
100 and some feet above us. I never looked down at the Titanic. I looked up at the Titanic. Nothing was small. But then as we rose up its side, because we had to abort the dive at that point because we were taking water into our batteries. And as we rose up after that first dive that lasted just minutes, we began to see the portholes. And it was like people looking back at us. It was pretty haunting, actually.
Titanic lies in a part of the ocean that you would describe as an abyssal plain. It's over 13,000 feet deep in the ocean. The water is near freezing temperatures, and probably the biggest challenge is the remoteness of the location, and in particular, the harsh environment with regard to the pressure that our equipment is exposed to. So every square inch or centimeter is being pressed into smaller space by the crushing pressures of the ocean at this kind of depth.
And I think everyone wonders in their own mind, if I were there, what would I have done? Would I have, done anything to save my life? Or would I have, like the builder of the Titanic, Andrew, gave up his life jacket to a female passenger and went and sat in the smoking room and sat there and never budged till the ship went down with him. So it was just amazing.
All right. So that's a little piece of footage right there. That was in 1986. That was a dive. Let me see. No, I don't want the whole thing. Come over here. Screw it. Let's see what happens when we search it like this. And I like to do this right in front of y'all so that y'all can see. Let's see. What is you talking about? So these are more footages. So basically what they have is footage after footage. Let me see what he says. I'm just trying to get to the part where they speak.
First impressions, it's big. It is a big wreck. I wasn't fully ready for just how large it was. And when it came up on sonar...
Okay, so this guy is one of the first divers that went down there to look at the shipwreck.
It really stood out. And there was a very strong current and visibility was quite poor. There was so much particulate matter that was just in the water. And we have relatively small viewports because it's a full ocean depth submersible. But eventually got properly oriented and was able to see some of the detail on the bow. And eventually I got to the bow and saw it. The fore crane that's in the front looks very menacing. And I was very, very cautious of that. So I tried to keep my distance, but it was just extraordinary just to see it all. And the most amazing moment came when I was going along the side of the Titanic and the bright lights of the submersible the first time when they reflected off of a portal and came right back. It was like the ship was winking at me. It was really amazing.
The future of the wreck is going to continue to...
So my biggest question is, if they was able to dive down there, right, and nothing happened to the ship, right, before, what happened this time? This time we know what happened. The CEO didn't care. He was either paid to do this. You see where I'm coming from? Was he, one of the guys that, went to them secret meetings in Jekyll Island this time? Because when you search up the secret meetings that they have at Jekyll Island, they don't talk about, recent meetings or none of that. They just talk about what's already been exposed. And unless somebody, becomes a whistleblower on what's going on now, recently, we're not going to know. Maybe I'm wrong. But let's keep listening to their first exploration on the Titanic wreck.
Deteriorate over time. It's a natural process. These are natural types of bacteria. So the reason that the deterioration process ends up being quite a bit faster. So it's a group of bacteria, a community that are working symbiotically to eat, if you will, the iron, the manganese, the sulfur that makes up the steel.
All right. So let me show my face real quick. I just wanted to show them videos for y'all real quick. I want y'all to start doing your own research when it comes to this. Let me see, what's he talking about? I just showed that video already. Showed that video. Let me close that. I already showed that video. What's this? All right, that was the guy that found the Titanic. So as y'all can see, James Cameron spoke on it and everything. He gave the warnings. We should be, how can I say it? Where is it? Right here. Why we don't hear more people speaking on situations like this right here. Everybody got so focused. It's like to the point where we got to believe Tom McDonald's when he says, yo, we're brainwashed. He says it in a whole song, maybe 5 or 4 different songs. And it's crazy. Each and every one of them, he kills it with his lyrics. But we're warned in so many ways, shapes, and forms that I don't know why people don't pay attention. Why don't people pay attention to this? Let's hope I'm sharing my screen right. Yep. It says, Interior Minister Rana Shanalua Khan told lawmakers in the National Assembly that an estimated 700 migrants were on the boat when it sank June 14. Only 104 people, including 12 Pakistanis, were rescued and 82 bodies have been recovered. The total number of people on the ship has not been confirmed, right? So what's crazy to me, this has all happened around the same time.
Begin today's show looking at the Titanic disparity and how the world responds to maritime disasters. As many as 700 migrants are feared to have died in a shipwreck last week off the coast of Greece, but the stories received far less attention.
Wow, 5 billionaires lost their lives in the submarine, which they, signed a waiver, which meant they didn't give a fuck what happened to them. Condolences to the family because they probably didn't know what was going on. None of that shit. But at the end of the day, other catastrophes were happening around us and major than what happened there. That was just a distraction. I'm going to give y'all my opinion after I show y'all, these few little videos that I'm going to show y'all and let y'all know why I think it's a distraction. And I'm going to also give y'all my opinion when it comes to this water. Like, I have this theory in my head, like maybe it's a theory for now until it comes true, right? Because what a theory is something, a conclusion that we come up to, ideas that we put together to come up with a conclusion, whatever y'all understand where I'm coming from. But I feel as though that the distraction with the water is because they found something under there. Let's watch this and then I'll talk to y'all. I'll give y'all my opinion.
Than the search for the 5 passengers aboard a submersible to view the wreck of the Titanic. On Thursday, search efforts for the submersible ended after investigators found debris near the Titanic at the bottom of the sea. It's believed the 5 passengers died in a catastrophic implosion. The 2 vessels were lost at sea 4 days and 4,000 miles apart. The 5 men who lost their lives on the Titan have been getting wall-to-wall coverage in the media worldwide. Meanwhile, the estimated 700 who died when the Adriana sank off the coast of Greece, mostly women and children, have been essentially forgotten. Passengers on the Titan were wealthy. 2 were billionaires. Each paid $250,000 for an adventure of a lifetime, a deep-sea dive to view the wreckage of the Titanic. Those crammed onto the ramshackle Adriana fishing boat were seeking not adventure, but refuge from war, poverty, climate change, or any of the many other life-threatening crises that force people to flee their homes with little more than the...
Now, I want y'all to pay close attention to what she's saying. Like, really listen, because she makes a lot of sense on what she's saying. I'm not going to play the whole video, but I am going to leave the link when I am done with this live at the bottom of the description box. So if anybody wants to find the videos and watch them on their own or do their own reaction to it, y'all more than welcome. The video links will be at the bottom of the description box. As soon as I'm done this live, I will be editing all that. So by tomorrow morning, the links will be there.
Clothes on their back. They paid human traffickers some thousands of dollars to ferry them from
People, how they say human traffickers.
Libya to Europe. Many of the passengers were from Pakistan, Afghanistan, Egypt, Syria, and Palestine. A multinational effort was launched to search for the passengers on the Titan submersible. Meanwhile, the Greek government's facing accusations that it could have saved the migrants aboard the doomed ship, but opted not to. The newspaper El País reports Greek authorities were tracking the ship for more than 12 hours and never activated a rescue operation even after the ship's engine broke down. We begin today's show with two guests. Yorgos Kosmopoulos is a senior migration campaigner for Amnesty International. He's joining us from Brussels. And in Paris, we're joined by Laurence Bondard, spokesperson and operations communications manager for SOS Méditerranée. She's been on 7 rescue missions in the Mediterranean. We welcome you both to Democracy Now! Let's begin with Laurence, spokesperson for Mediterranean. If you can respond to what took place last week and continues to take place.
So this lady is gonna explain a little bit. I'm gonna say, let me put it like this. Let me make sure they can hear me. Hold on 1 second. Yep. My mic is on. So this lady is gonna basically explain, why these people are on the boat, what led to these people being on a boat, and much more. But see, 700 migrants on a boat that's that big, and nobody talked about it. They were, being taken out of their place, their island, by sex traffickers. Yes, sex traffickers. For those of y'all that didn't, let me get a Q-tip real quick so I can clean mine, right? Because she said it in the beginning, sex traffickers.
Clearly, when we don't know the migrants' names, when we don't know their stories, like we know those on the Titans, it is hard to care. Talk about who died last week.
Hi, Amy. Yes, it is very difficult to relate and to understand what happens in the Mediterranean when it's far and when you don't exactly understand what it means to be in the middle of the sea, completely alone, facing with the strength of the elements and having no one to hear your cry of despair and to come and rescue. The people that flee via the sea and that take the risk to die to seek safety are people from very different regions of the world, from the African continent, Asian continent, Middle East region. These are people, as you were describing, who are fleeing their original countries for various reasons, from war to poverty, different kinds of violence, and they end up in Libya, trapped in a country where they are facing harrowing cycle of violence. We hear recounts of people who are abducted, detained in unofficial detention centers, beaten up with their family on the phone to make sure that the family sells everything they have and provides as much money as possible. So the people who take these unseaworthy boats that are critically overcrowded, without life jackets, often without enough food and water to do such.
This shows you that people in other countries don't have it as good as we do, and we're so fucking divided, and they're so united. Dang.
Hazardous and dangerous crossing are people that are in the absolute despair. They will take any opportunity they have to just flee and try and seek safety.
Yorgos Kosmopoulos, you have said that this is a completely avoidable disaster. El País continues to expose what took place off the coast of Greece. Explain where the migrants were coming from on this overcrowded fishing vessel, what the Greek Navy knew, when they knew it, and why this sunk. We don't know how many hundreds of people, in fact, have died, but it could be up to 700.
Hi, Jaime. Thank you for having this. So indeed, it's a tragedy beyond words, and it was completely preventable simply because Europe doesn't afford safe and legal routes, pathways for these people to seek safety. And that's the beginning. That's the result of policies of European member states who do not prioritize lives. Hearing the account of our other guest, I always remember my friend Ali when he fled Syria. He called me yesterday after the shipwreck. He told me a few years ago it could have been me and my children. He always tells me how it was the hardest thing he ever had to do, fleeing his own country.
You know what I think is crazy? I think it's crazy that I feel as though, in my opinion, that the United States is becoming like these third world countries.
Country among bombs, carrying his three children in his arms, telling them night and day it's gonna be okay, and thinking inside him it's gonna be okay even if I have to die. It's just to say that these people have absolutely no option. Nobody puts their family and themselves in such danger unless they have no other option. And European politicians, who very often now express condolences, regret, do very little to do the right thing, to have the safe and legal routes. We also know that the Greek Coast Guard was alerted in this latest shipwreck. They were alerted early on, and they followed very closely the shipwreck. There are a lot of questions who remain to be answered by the Greek authorities. Why they acted the way they did, or why didn't they act in the way they should have acted, especially as more information emerges. It was clear that the vessel was probably not seaworthy. We need an investigation that is thorough, that's independent, to come to the truth. We need to know the truth, and we expect from the Greek authorities now to A, look after the survivors, make sure that families and their members have access and identify the loved ones, and again, truth and justice for what has happened.
I want to turn to Abdel Farid Ahmed, the father of 18-year-old Syrian migrant Mohammed Ahmed, who went missing after that shipwreck off Greece. He said he doesn't know if his son is dead or alive.
On Friday night, we lost contact with my son, and until now, we don't know anything about his whereabouts. The smugglers say they arrived on the other side, and until now, there's been no communication. We don't know anything about him. Drowned, alive, we don't know.
Now, I want y'all to hear how he says smugglers, all right? So, I'm going to play a little bit of his audio. This video is 16 minutes, 33 seconds long. So, I'm going to let him play what he's saying. I'm going to rewind it back just a little bit so y'all can hear him. And I'm going to show y'all some videos on TikTok. And then I'm going to give my opinion and start speaking on our history when it comes to the Tainos and the Arawak. And then I'm going to tell y'all why I'm doing that today. Because there's going to be a part 2 on our history. This right here is going to be a part 1, I guess. But there's going to be a part 2 and part 3 to that. So let's do this, guys.
They're alive.
On Friday night, we lost contact with my son, and until now, we don't know anything about his whereabouts. The smugglers say they arrived on the other side, and until now, there's been no communication. We don't know anything about him. Drowned, alive, we don't know. If my son had work, he wouldn't have thought about leaving. If he had peace of mind or a good livelihood, he wouldn't have left.
So, Georgos, if you could talk more about what people know at this time, what they're told, and also talk about your own family, coming from the southern coastal town of Peloponnese. You've worked in the region.
All right, so I'm going to stop it right there. Let's go back to the StreamYard real quick, y'all. Now, I'm hoping I'm on the right thing right here. I'm not the only one that is saying what I'm saying. I love this woman's perspective on. Oh, I got a message. I don't know who messaged me. I'll check that in a minute. Oh, snap. I'm supposed to be sharing it to, all right, let's share it right here. Presenting the video right now. Let me fix my cap. Damn, I just messed the whole thing up. They went over here, I was supposed to fix, and I went over there. Fine. Yo, my cat just, there we go. I'm having a bad day with the cat today, huh? Why won't you present? Alright, I want y'all to see this video.
That I agree with. Check it out. Recently, while Obama was being interviewed, he said something that I agree with. Check it out.
There's a potential tragedy unfolding with a submarine that is getting minute-to-minute coverage all around the world. And it's understandable because obviously we all want and pray that those folks are rescued. But the fact that that's gotten so much more attention than 700 people who sank is, that's an untenable situation.
So you heard him talk about the Titan, the little submersive that went down to try to find.
And don't we all agree at this moment with President Obama? Like, at this moment, I'm actually saying I agree with this man the same way that this lady does too. There's many reasons, so many reasons why I don't agree with President Obama. He did so many things. Reason why, listen, I lost a lot of respect for him, but I got to sit here and be a woman and say, yo, he is right. We're all saying the same thing. So many things happening and we're all ignoring
the Titanic on June 18th with 5 people on board. But from what we learn now, the little submarine, if you will, imploded, killing everybody on board. So basically they're saying, they being the U.S. Coast Guards, saying that it never made it down there. But before we knew that, for like 3 or 4 days, it captivated the whole world, right? Everybody was wondering if they were going to find it because they were telling us they only had so much air left. Originally, they said it had like 94 hours of oxygen. And then as the days went on, the oxygen levels was dwindling, right? So everybody was glued, you know, except for me and probably you. Everybody was glued, tweeting about it and everything you could think of. But in the meantime, hardly anybody spoke about the fishing boat, rather, that was on its way from Libya to Italy that capsized in Kalamata, Greece. Now, it was about 700 people on that boat. They said that they only recovered, I don't know, maybe about 200.
They only recovered but 200 people, right? Off that boat. I'm going to leave the link to that video on the description down below when I'm done the live. Like I said, that I'm going to do with all the videos that I'm showing today. But I want y'all to also take a look. I'm about to show y'all something real quick. Let's go my likes. Where is it? Where is it? I think it's Papa Duck. I'm going to have to go to YouTube real quick. Yep, I'm going to have to go to YouTube. Papa Duck. I'm going to show y'all a video from Papa Duck real quick. All right, so it's actually 2 videos I'm going to show y'all from Papa Duck. So I love watching Papa Duck because he gives, listen, good perspectives about the situations that are going on. And he's been exposing a lot of the stuff that's been happening. He talks about everything. And, the way he talks about it, I love it. Let me see. So The last time I showed y'all, I think it was part 1 or part 2 of the live that I did when we were speaking on the, missing sub, the Titanic, the secrets of Jekyll Island, how the Federal Reserve came about, and much more. I showed y'all a video of Papa Duck and how he broke it down and much more. So right now I'm gonna show y'all another video, and this is another video that he posted, and this is telling us, and he's explaining to us about a bill that they passed, and I want y'all to listen to him very, very carefully.
Well, I told y'all how these people play. I told y'all, listen, if you was born this and you want to change into this, right? Keep up with me. And you change your name into the new person you want to be, you basically don't wipe your whole record off from the old you. The old you, that's gone. You got a new clean slate, no record, no felonies, no nothing under the new you. Keep up with me. This is for, you know what I'm saying? Now, this is what these people do to coerce you to make you make decisions. You know how many people gonna do that? You know how many people gonna literally like, yo, I'm just gonna.
So for those of y'all that are confused, what Papa Duck is trying to say is, right? Blessings, Bondi Gaming, blessings. How you doing? Welcome to the channel. Welcome. I hope you enjoy the stream. I hope you enjoy the, the podcast and all the upcoming episodes. So basically what Papa Duck is trying to say is, right? Basically, people have been talking about it. For those of you that are confused when he says, go that way, go this way, be part of that. Let's say Levitica, right? So they've been, allegedly, that gender identity thing. The laws have already been completely passed. For those of y'all that are wondering.
And then it's just inviting these things in. And if you really think about it, it has not a damn thing to do with you. I don't care if you change your name, you're still the same person. It's so crazy to.
Facts. I can call myself Griselda Blanco. That don't mean I'm Griselda Blanco. I could sit here and put, go over there and change my name in the municipal building where they deal with the birth certificates and that. I could sit here and say I'm a kangaroo. That doesn't change that I'm me, who I am.
So they don't even make laws like that about black folks, white folks, or no other folks that committed a crime. I ain't saying if you killed the bitch to change, but I'm just talking about a lot of these crimes be like petty ass crime. They're just felonies. Ain't nothing for you to do to wipe it out. You can't wipe the earth out. But if you become and you switch over and change your name, you got a whole new identity. Do you know what this?
That's a fact. Yo, you could have 100 felonies on your belt right now, but supposedly, allegedly, you could sit here and, go over there and change your name, your identity, and everything, and woof, slate clean, supposedly, allegedly. That's what they're saying.
What can of worms this shit finna open up, bro? I keep telling y'all, bro. These people is not in the business to make your life or my life better, bro. It's their game. They created all these laws, and they basically got us where they want us. And we comply because no one is saying nothing. The church ain't saying nothing. The NAACP ain't saying nothing. Ain't none of these so-called celebrities. None of these people ain't saying nothing. No,
says all this has happened. Tell me, what celebrity have y'all seen speak up? The only one I've seen speak up has been Ice Cube. He said, guys, I just want y'all to know I am not part of the gatekeepers. I'm not part of that club. I'm not part of that society. Yo, and my prayers go out to Ice Cube because he's been so far the realest. He's exposed so much stuff and has had to watch his back to the point that I'm like, yo, out of all these celebrities, like, damn, like, yo, I'm really praying that the one above keeps watching over him.
We just go for whatever. I ain't gonna say we go for it, but we don't do nothing about it. And that's why I say we gotta start standing up for this shit. If not, bro, our kids are in trouble. I told you a million times, if you don't own nothing, you don't control nothing. You don't control these laws. You don't control nothing. You're just a participant. The two biggest companies that damn near run the world, I want y'all to tell me first. Think about it, and then I'm finna tell you. Think about it. What is the two companies that damn near run the whole world? Think about it. It ain't it ain't none of your Bill Gates or Bill Fakes. It ain't Google.
And for those of y'all that are wondering, the biggest company also has to do with stocks. So let's see if y'all can figure it out. It has to do with stocks.
Oh, they small fries to these two giants. I'm gonna tell y'all, Vanguard and BlackRock. I've done a couple videos on BlackRock.
So for those of y'all that are familiar with the stock shop, listen, I need a shout out Biz 101. I don't have my mods right here, but I need to give a shout out to Biz 101 because he talks about these stocks, he talks about these bonds and all this stuff, the Bitcoins, all of that. Biz 101. So if y'all don't know him, check out Biz 101. Check him out. He talks about the crypto, all that, what's going to happen about in the market, the banks, everything. Go check him out. Biz 101, guys. Like, great guy.
Vanguard and BlackRock. Every time you do something, you put money in their pocket. I don't give a damn what it is. They own everything, you might well say. How could someone become this powerful? They created this whole power structure and got us living in it. But what does that have to do? What I'm talking about, like, what does that have to do with you changing your name? All it does is coerce people to want to go that route or say, okay, I'm okay with that, or make you side with people that's in favor of stuff like that. You get what I'm saying? Because they're going to make your life better. Every time they throw a law out there, they're going to make some people's lives better, and it's not going to make some other people's lives better. That's how you draw a wedge between people. You got to have two. But my thing is this: why we keep letting them throw anything at us? We as people need to say, forget their whole construct of living, change it all around. We come together. We don't need no police policing us. We don't need no judges judging us. We don't need none of this shit, bro.
And that's a fact. For those of y'all that don't know Papa Duck, go check him out. I'm going to leave the link to this video down below so that y'all can continue watching it. But he's not lying, yo. He is not lying. We're going to have to go back to tribal times, yo. Back to tribal times. Now, he posted this video 15 hours ago. That's because I'm on this YouTube. I should have went to the Prime. I'm about to change to switch to my other account to a Prime.
Man, listen, man, because I get this question a lot in my DMs, emails, and all that type of stuff. Listen, people be asking me, like, how you know when you starting to vibrate on another level? And it's simple. You know what I'm saying? The main reason you'll know when you're starting to vibrate on another level is the person you with will start to let you know in ways you just got to pay attention. They're going to say stuff like, oh, you think you all that. You think you know everything. No, man. I just ain't the person I used to be. I ain't finna argue with you about nothing like we used to. I ain't doing that. I done vibrated on another level. I'm not doing that. I'm not letting small stuff get to me because I understand now. See, people like that are flat tire. It would have been the worst day in the world. To me, just a fucking flat tire. It's a beautiful day.
It's a beautiful day, baby. Shit, I just had to show y'all Papa Duck real quick. All right. Let me go on here. I had to show y'all Papa Duck right there. I'm gonna show the that video when I'm done. The videos with our tribal history and much more. So those are the people, the 5 people that that sunk, that exploded in that submarine. And if they did, this is my opinion, guys. Let me just go right on to my opinion so that I can hop on to the next one. And I want to take a minute and once again thank everyone that has rocked out and is rocking out with a shorty, because y'all don't have to be here, but y'all are. So, in my opinion, I believe that the five people that died in the submarine on the beginning of June, in the middle of June, let's put it like that, because the 700 migrants died around the same time. This was 2 weeks ago. Just 2 weeks ago, all this happened around the same time. But can anybody seem to tell me why the 700 migrants didn't make it throughout the news? See, the news outlets post what they want, and they twist and turn the stories. They don't tell us the whole truth. And when they do tell us something, we have to sit here and figure out if it's a truth or a lie. Sometimes they'll sit here and still post something, them knowing that it's not true, that it's false information, and they still try to feed us to us. You know what I think? I still stand 10 toes down on saying that I believe, right, that we're the only ones here in the United States that fall for the news media, for the news outlets, right? Because in other countries and other places, they know what's going to happen to us before we know what's going to happen to us. Even though it's crazy, they're trying to run from, their places to try to come over here to America. America, this is America, land of the free, where you got to pay for water, even the air you breathe. And I don't get tired of seeing that time after time. It's a distraction. Because other than that, why not tell us about all the important things or all the other major catastrophes that are happening around us, like the volcanoes and much more? Y'all still think that all them forest fires are all completely gone? No, some of them forest fires are still on. The volcanoes are erupting more and more, and they've been erupting since way before 2019. So for those of y'all that be like, yo, Ray, you tripping? No, shorty not tripping. Go do your own research. They've got this on movies and everything, and we're the only ones asleep. When it comes to the submarine, this is why I feel as though they want to tell us what they're doing, but they're distracting us from the truth. They found something, and this is my opinion. This is allegedly. In my opinion, I feel as though they found something underwater. Let me ask y'all a question. How many of y'all feel as though, like, do y'all know about space, right? Y'all know about the astronauts, the moon, but, this is just a theory, right? Just a theory, right? They've lied to us about the astronauts, about all this bullshit, about the first astronaut landing on the moon, much more, yada, right? Let's skip a little bit. In my opinion, and I'm not the only one that thinks like this, and I've been thinking I said this, I'm not sure what live I said it, but I said it on one of my lives, right? I feel as though that the ocean is space. The ocean is the only thing that's a mystery to us, right? We know that when they ship them rockets, we've been knew that, right? There's like a dome up there and everything. The Simpsons, Family Guy, all them cartoons from back in the days, they still air in the Simpsons. But a lot of these cartoons from back in the days exposed all this. We was just too young and ignorant, and we wasn't worried about that. But the adults kind of, caught on and peeped. And a lot of parents, talk to their kids, a lot didn't. But my whole thing, right, where I'm trying to go with this, right, is I feel as though y'all know what these astronaut suits look like, right? Y'all seen what the moon looks like. But when y'all see the pictures of the stuff that they discovered under the water, under the sea, don't it look kind of familiar? What kind of like the astronaut suits and the deep diving suits, don't they look kind of familiar? Don't they kind of look familiar, right? And sea is where you can actually get lost. You don't get lost out there in space. And it kind of gets me thinking back to, that flight that got lost a couple years back, like I think it was in 19 something. I think in the early 1950 something. I forgot what year it was. But regardless, this plane disappeared for a couple years and it came back. Could it have this went down somehow, some way, and nobody knew about it? Like, there's places that they haven't discovered yet. Like, what's crazy is the mysteries that are underwater. I feel as though they're saying the space is out there where the sky is at, where you fly these planes and you see the clouds. No, I feel as though that deep space will be right where there's water at, right underneath the ocean, right underneath the sea. Like, what if there is little places, like they've discovered so many things. Look at the ship, how is there? The ocean goes deeper than that fucking Titanic shipwreck. It goes way deeper than that. Y'all see where I'm coming from? Like, it's way, way, way deeper than that. And there's so many mysteries to still be found. What did they find underwater that they're making so many distractions around us? From the forest fires to the boats to all this happening around us, and they don't say nothing about it on the news. It's like when they did the shooting right here. They talked about all the other shootings, right? But they never spoke about the shooting that happened here on my block. They never spoke about the shooting that happened a couple blocks down. No, they spoke about what happened in downtown, all the major cities. I mean, all the major places here in Philly. but they didn't speak about the the people that got shut up here in the hood. They spoke about the people that got shut up Frankfurt, where them little important places, buildings is at, or up downtown around Temple. Yeah, but about the people that got shut up here in the hood, y'all ain't speak about it. They don't talk about us. So y'all already know about the people that was on the ship. So I'm gonna close those tabs down. And let me see, is it here? Now, let me share my screen one more time, and I want to show y'all something real quick. Share screen, share screen. Now, this all happened in 2023, and I want y'all to pay attention. So I'm just going to slide down. As y'all can see, these are all catastrophes that happened in 2023, guys. And they didn't really talk about it. They didn't talk about those catastrophes at all. Let me see. Am I in the right place? Yeah. When was this posted? See, there was a video I wanted to show y'all, but I can't find the darn video now. That's crazy. But it is crazy how they did show this, right? They only showed the news about the 700 migrants on Florida. I mean, in CNN. Damn, I shouldn't have read what I was watching on screen. All right, here we go. I found a video that I was going to show y'all. This is going to be the last video that I'm going to show y'all. And this is a shorty that kind of shares the same opinion with me. And she went on and did her research real good. And she posted this video on TikTok. So shout out to this shorty right here. Let me share the screen with y'all. And as y'all can see, this is another shorty right here that, that kind of thinks similar. So let's get to it.
Because outer space is the ocean. Y'all, I am freaking out.
Is it? No, see, it's the other shorty. But let's watch this video. I thought it was the same video. Nope, it's not. There's another shorty that kind of like, but this girl right here does her research too. So let's watch this, and maybe on another live, I'll show y'all the video that I'm talking about. And it's this girl that kind of like, she goes deep into her research and explains, the story about the ocean. It's crazy is that what she was saying is on the Bible. It's in the Bible too, y'all. It's crazy as shit. It's in the Bible. So let's hear her out real quick.
Y'all, I am freaking out right now. There's a lot of unexplained things going on in the ocean right now. Hold on real quick. I do not trust them. Just watch this real quick for me. You get to Mars by going through the ocean. You can't get to the bottom of the ocean.
No, I think she's kind of tripping on you get to Mars to the bottom of the ocean. But let's keep listening.
Because outer space is the ocean. Now, what she just said just blew my mind.
Now that part right there, outer space being the ocean, I want y'all to go out there and start doing your research and see why a lot of people are thinking like this and why people are doing their research on this.
There's a situation called the firmament. So we know that water is all around us. And it is said that this dome divided the sea into upper and lower sections. You can't cancel this out because they still haven't discovered 80% of the sea. Early civilizations believed that the ocean and the stars above were linked. I mean, just look. Mayan, Norse, Hindu, Hebrew, all of them. Now, we already know what spacesuits look like, but they look exactly like sea suits. I know once in your life you've heard of the Bermuda Triangle. Planes and people going missing in the ocean. There are black holes in the ocean. And I just know once in your life you've heard of.
And that's a fact. Listen, shorty on point. They have not discovered 80% of the ocean. They've only discovered a portion of the ocean. They're still discovering the ocean. Even though the white chick that she had on there that was talking, she was exaggerating when she said that you can get through Mars, through the ocean. No. But like I said, there's so many things to still be discovered underneath the ocean that is crazy. And the distractions, everything is with the water. And I've talked about this before, like with the time travel and all that. Time traveling has to do with water one way or another. Like if y'all go look into the Tesla, and I'm not talking about the cars, I'm talking about the guy that invented the machines and all that stuff. Go look into it. I want y'all to really go do y'all research, guys. But this chick so far is on point. I want to find the other video though, because the chick was doing her research and she came across the same shit I was coming across.
About sea monsters. When you see a comet, there are black holes in the ocean. And I just know once in your life you've heard about sea monsters. When you see a comet, it looks like a boat soaring through water. What if these unexplained species in the ocean are actually aliens? If y'all have ever watched this movie Underwater, they went too deep and found the creatures that don't even look like.
By the way, that movie Underwater is a great movie. Y'all should go watch it.
It's supposed to be from this earth. Or could it have just been a creature from space? Now you can say what you want, but I bet you we are not the only beings, only species, only creatures that are in this universe. It's just ironic that when they return to Earth, they're on water. I mean, I know I'm not tripping. And I know y'all heard of mermaids. So many unexplained things in the ocean. They're making more discoveries in space. Not really putting too much money or caring about what's going on the planet. Why? Because this sea stuff might have a lot of connections to space. And they not telling us. Y'all be safe. And I know I'm not the only person who feel this way. Have y'all know?
And that's a fact. So many people are doing their research on this. And listen, I'm one of them. And I'm saying here, I'm like, what does the water have to do with space? What does the water have to do with time travel? What does the water have to do with everything? And it's crazy, the distractions. What did y'all find underwater?
Notice something, especially with Avatar 2. These upcoming movies are talking a lot about water, specifically the ocean and what's going on down there. Them having to fight wars on the water. Even with the new Black Panther movie, wars with an underwater tribe. I feel like there's more going on in the ocean than they're talking about. Now, as y'all know, y'all saw when the ocean was literally on fire. What are they hiding from us? And then 11 years before that, it was another ocean fire that they purposely did.
And for those of y'all that don't know, we still have, where am I? I gotta get to my StreamYard. For those of y'all that don't know, we still have active volcanoes. Active volcanoes, guys. So I really want y'all to go do y'all research. I'm mad that the screen divided like this.
Flames were intentionally set. Far offshore, crews lit some of the...
They intentionally set these fires. Let me pause this right here. I got to put my face on the screen real quick. They intentionally set them fires in the ocean. Y'all remember a little while back, the Canadian fires, the fires right here in the woods in Jersey, Ohio. All the fires happened in the woods and stuff like that, right? In the forests, my bad. And they didn't tell us about that. They was only so focused on what? Canada. But they didn't tell us about the ocean fires either surrounding the boats. Those fires right there were intentionally created. Now, they made all of us think that it was just a forest fire from Canada and it reached everywhere, including Philly. And that's why we was all, no, y'all didn't sit here and tell us all the forests were caught on fire. And it was shown on the Google map. So people love Google so much. Why didn't they search the Google map? Why didn't they do their history? Why didn't they do their research and see? Like right here, this girl, as y'all can see, is literally showing us on this video right here, pieces of clips that she put together of proof of stuff that's happening around us. And, a lot of y'all may not believe in the creatures and the myths and stuff like that. But I could sit here and tell you that if gods existed and giants existed, Thor, all that, Zeus existed at one point, this must have existed. Now, for those of y'all that believe the dinosaurs are real, listen, at one point I did too. But them dinosaurs are what they called at one point dragons. I want y'all to really go do y'all research a little deeper. They played the crap out of us while we was in school. I'm telling y'all. This is crazy, the stuff that y'all learn, right?
Thickest parts of the oil slick ablaze, parts surrounded by fire-resistant boom.
I guess I'm
Intentionally set.
another ocean fire that they purposely did.
Flames were intentionally set. Far offshore, crews lit some of the thickest parts of the oil slick ablaze, parts surrounded by fire-resistant boom.
I guess I'm tripping though, right? Even though last year they let off a 40,000-pound bomb in the ocean. Now tell me y'all don't believe that.
But they didn't tell us that either. They didn't tell us about the bomb. This is why, listen, guys, I want y'all to understand what a shorty is trying to do. This is what a shorty is trying to do. Blessings, Van D Gaming. Thank you so much for your support. They told us about the little things that happened, right? But they didn't warn us about the bombs that they were throwing. Like I told y'all before, right? I'm not sure on which live. I know I did a live, and I was speaking about the stuff that was happening around us and much more, right? And I spoke about the 95, Route 95, right? Route 95, and how the explosion happened underground and all that. And I said, listen, something's coming. Like we've been warned. I showed y'all the videos and everything, right? And I was like, listen, I feel as though we're under attack. I feel like we're at war. We're not just at war with each other. We're at war between the governments and elections and all this bullshit. We're at war. We're also in the middle of a spiritual war. I feel as though we're not the only ones at war down here. The gods are fighting. Real shit. So let's finish this video so that we can get right on to our historical tribes. Like, let's talk about the Arawak tribe and the Tainos. So that's what we're gonna we're gonna start talking about after I get done, giving my perspective on this. And like I said, shout out to the shorty right here, because she has a great perspective on everything that's happening. And I'm not sure if she's younger than me. I'm 33 years old. And if she's younger than me, or probably around the same age, because we could be the same age, listen, shout out to this shorty for doing her freaking research.
Underwater civilizations are down there. Now, in the new Black Panther movie, it seems like it's beings coming from the water to fight. Also, the new Avatar movie, coming from the water to fight. Y'all seeing all over the world that these floodings and hurricanes is happening everywhere all around the world. In Florida, Pakistan, all of that. Even in the desert. Something is going on and they're not playing about it. If we throw in the existence of mermaids and the amphibious beings who taught the Dogon tribe information about the sky, all of that, where do y'all think these beings are living? Why do you think they keep trying to bomb these oceans, trying to figure out ways to set it on fire? They're sending us a message, y'all. So stay dangerous and tell me what you think. Chlorine, fluoride, heavy metals, bacteria, and so much more. Why is it so important to the government that the water that we bathe in and drink is contaminated? People, movies, scientists, TV shows.
Is she lying? She's definitely not lying at all. Why? Don't y'all notice that when y'all take your showers, it smells like if we just took a shower, we just got out of a pool, fresh out of a pool, swimming pool?
Have all made claims about the power of water. I bet this scene went right over your head.
I want to know what happened to them.
The water is literally showing her. A doctor named Masaru Emoto exposed this, that when frozen, you can see the messages and memory in water. You can also change the molecular structure of water with your intentions and emotion. And let's not forget that water can be portals. Everything that you see that they put out, they're not showing it for no reason. Every time in Stranger Things where Eleven wanted to see into different places and travel, she would have to be in water. I mean, just think about it. If water holds memory, and water has been on Earth for millions of thousands of years, imagine how much information water carries. Water is in all humans. It connects all the continents together. Everybody remembers the Egyptian saying, as above, so below, right? So if below water connects us to everything, then we have to say the same thing for the universe. My theory that space is the ocean can back this up. Our tap water being contaminated is definitely deeper than the surface. I mean, why is it so hard to have clean, natural water? They got to put it in our face without telling us. Our restrictions from good water is not just for no reason. It's time to recognize the real. Boil your water. I do not care if it's purified or bottled. We need to get to this information. And yes, the blinds are closed because you know how they is. Open your eyes to the real and stay dangerous.
So shout out to this shorty. She's on TikTok, Facebook, the real Kia. That's her information, the real Kia. So shout out to her because she's on point with everything that she has researched, y'all. And I've said this before. There was this show that I watched on Freeform at one point, and it's about this girl, right? That she was working for the government. She had to work for the government because she was, I guess, looking for her mom. Something had happened, but basically they had to put her in this machine, right? And it was full of water, in this tank full of water, where they connected her to the dead body. So this other dead body was on another chain connected to this machine that she was connected to, and it was also full of water, right? So the only way that this was work if she was, underwater. They submerged her underwater, and she would die for a couple seconds and come back. See where I'm coming from? So if y'all do y'all research, right, and for those of y'all that be like, oh no, that's fake, that's bullshit. Something in there is real. You see where I'm coming from? Something in there, the water's connected to this time traveling, this portal shit, all this stuff that everybody's like, oh, that's fake, that's a myth, that's a theory. Obviously not. Look at everything that's going on around us. What did they find? What are they looking for? Going back to the show, right? When she would go under, she could see the last memories of the people that had died. And basically, these people was able to figure out what happened to the people that, got killed, how they died, how they killed themselves, and the secrets that they had lying in their head. So this girl was actually reading their minds, seeing not reading their minds. She was actually seeing what they went through, their last minutes of life, what they lived through, everything. Like that's crazy. Like, yo, when you read about Tesla, what did Tesla do? He came out with a time traveling machine. How many movies don't they have? There's so many movies where they show you that they have to kill you and bring you back to life, like in order to time travel, or what they do. They submerge you underwater and bring you back to life. That's the crazy. Like, if all this shit is true, we've been really asleep and really dumbified. Real shit. But guys, let's take this off real quick. And let me start sharing y'all. Let's get into our history. The reason why I want to start the episodes, I'm gonna start calling the Writers for Life reacts to our history. All right. So we're gonna talk about the history of the Arawak people. And this right here, the first video I'm gonna show y'all is a short documentary. It's real short. And the reason I'm bringing this up, reason why I'm bringing this up, right? I've had so many kids, right, walk up to me, especially on the block parties and stuff like that, right? And they sat here and they'd be like, yo, why is people worried about our skin, right? My daughter had a whole encounter. She has a whole, her dad has another kid with one of my friends, right? Right. So they're sisters, and they know these sisters. They love each other. They don't care that one is white, and they don't care that the other one is black. Like, they don't care that one is darker, the other one is lighter at all. But everywhere they go, they always like, yo, y'all can't be sisters. She's black, you're white. She's black, you're white. Yo, I swear that my daughter's sister, Joe, she comes out, y'all can't be telling me I'm not black. I know that I'm black. I know my daddy's black. And she goes in like, yo, I know my. So I'm like, yo, for a 7-year-old, I got to give her a shout out because she's been listening to everything that she's been taught when it comes to her history and her roots. And this is what a lot of us parents need to do with our kids so that our kids could stop, bullying each other and picking each other when it comes to race. That's why I'm so tired of everybody using race as a fucking excuse for something. I'm tired of it. For y'all Puerto Ricans and Dominicans that are out here that keep saying, oh, I'm not black, fuck the black people. Where do y'all think that we come from? If you are an Indian Taino, you are part of the Arawak tribe. Haitians, Jamaicans, Africans. Their blood runs through our bloods. We are their descendants. We were a part of the Black Indians. That's what I need y'all to start understanding. I need y'all to stop putting in our kids' heads that because we're Puerto Ricans or we're Dominicans, we don't have, black blood running through our veins. What do y'all think that we're descendants of? Air? These just the Spanish people, the Europeans that took over? So basically, that's what a lot of Puerto Ricans and Dominicans are letting me to believe. Like, y'all don't give a fuck about our roots, where we actually come from. Y'all claim that Puerto Rican and that Dominican flag, but do y'all actually know y'all roots? Do y'all know y'all culture? Do y'all not see how our kids are coming at each other? Like, some of them are related. And they're up and down having to defend themselves because there's people out there saying, no, man, your dad can't be black. Your dad can't be this, or your mom can't be black. Your mom can't be this. Why? Because one child is lighter than the other? It's not our fault. What happened during the slavery time? That's not our fault. We're dwelling on the wrong shit. We need to be worrying about the now. See, our ancestors, our grandparents, the people that sat here and sacrificed, the ones that we're sitting here, oh my God, what? They did that. They made a path for us. They opened it up for us. And we're just sitting here dwelling. They got to be fucking going in circles in their grave. Real shit. Blessings, the word. Blessings, Chloe Zandan. I hope I said the name right. Claude Zandan. Blessings. Welcome to the channel. I hope you enjoy this stream along with many others. We're going to do the our History Tribe episode 1. I'm not sure when next week, but I am going to be scheduling these things pretty soon, and we're going to be having different episodes. These are open panels for those that do wish to, give their perspectives and give their opinion and speak. But this is the reason why I'm doing it, because we need to learn our culture. We need to learn our history. And I do know a lot where I come from. I know a lot of my roots, but I don't know everything. And I'm honest enough to say that. So I want to get straight onto this video real quick. And I want to start watching it with y'all. And once again, guys, the links to each and every one of these videos will be in the description box below when this live is over. We should. We're supposed to teach our relatives, our kids, and everything. Like, my kids' friends around, when they were around, like, he's had a couple friends that are just Puerto Rican. I'm like, I'm not black. I'm not this. Listen, man, you better start learning your roots and stop saying that. It's time for us to come together. We want our kids to come together, but we're teaching them all the wrong shit. Real shit. I'm sorry. Like, if you get mad at me, I apologize, but I'm not sorry. We need to start teaching our kids this stuff.
In terms of,
when we talk about the Taino, few people even know what we're talking about. Everyone knows the Aztec. Everyone knows the Inca. Everyone knows the Maya. You mentioned Taino.
That's a fact. Listen, what he's about to say is not a lie. I had somebody not so long ago tell me that the Indian Tainos don't exist no more. I said, what the fuck are we descendants of? I said, if the Indian Tainos didn't exist after whatever time you say, then what the hell are we? What tribe did we come from? Because as far as I'm concerned, we're the descendants, right? Some people really need to do their research. So they don't end up being stupid.
Taino, and they go, who are these people?
The name.
When we talk about the Taino, few people even know what we're talking about. Everyone knows the Aztec. Everyone knows the Inca. Everyone knows the Maya. You mentioned Taino, and they go, who are these people?
The name Taino itself is the generic term for the late prehistoric peoples of the Greater Antilles and the Bahamas, the Big Islands, Cuba, Hispaniola, Puerto Rico, and Jamaica.
in terms of national identity, the people in Dominican Republic.
Y'all heard? I want to go back a little bit so y'all can hear all the places he named.
And the Bahamas, the Big Islands, Cuba, Hispaniola, Puerto Rico, and Jamaica.
In terms of national identity, the people in Dominican Republic think of themselves as Indians, not as people of African ancestry.
These are the people that greeted Columbus. When Columbus arrived in the New World, there were several million Taino already here, living in the Greater Antilles.
Knowing
Now, for those of you, that don't know about it, the Tainos were the first Indians. We were the first. Why do y'all think, listen, why do y'all think y'all keep hearing Kevin Gates saying, this is our native land? We need to take it back. This is our native land. On almost all his songs, you hear Kevin Gates, as shout out and as crazy as he is, even that man knows his roots, where he came from, and what we're supposed to do. But how can one person fight a battle when nobody wants to back them up? So basically, they're just going to lose their life alone. They're just going to take that risk by themselves, and everybody's just going to sit there like, come on. There's a battle where we're all supposed to be united.
more about the Tainos will help us understand that clash of cultures.
You have two worlds that didn't have previous knowledge of each other coming together and initially misunderstanding each other fundamentally because they are trying to fit them into the world as they understood it, when in fact this was something totally new and unprecedented.
There was a large number of indigenous population of Taino that were decimated, assimilated, or just disappeared within the first 10 to 20 years of contact with the New World.
He said within the first 10 or 20 years with the Europeans getting in contact with them. You see that? They had no knowledge of each other. So for those of y'all that don't know y'all history, y'all really need to do your research and stop talking.
Caves have a very special role in Taino culture. They are sort of the way that this world is physically connected to the underworld where the spirits of the dead dwell. The Tainos believed humans were created in two caves. The Taino people came from one cave, and all the non-Taino people came from another cave.
The Padre Nuestro complex of caverns is really 4 water-filled caverns and then several others that are land.
And it's one of only now 9 sites known with early stone materials.
When I look at Padre Nuestro, what I look at is its implications for the actual people in the Caribbean, which is one of the last places in the world that was inhabited. So 4,000 to 6,000 years ago, we know people came into the Caribbean. The question is, where did they come from? Probably the first wave coming into the Greater Antilles came from the mainland, probably Yucatan, by boat. Came across, inhabited Cuba, inhabited Dominican Republic, and we have evidence of that.
The Manantial de la Aleta, I think, has a special place among caves and caverns in that it has a very a direct vertical connection from a watery pool, a watery underworld, if you will, through the surface of the earth to the heavens.
And the only way you can explain these objects that date from 600 years before Columbus contact right up to the time of Columbus is that they were offered underwater and they were preserved there in an anaerobic, no oxygen, very little sunlight penetrating, and that's La Aleta. It has the largest diversity of Taino objects of organic and ceramic that we've seen anywhere else, and they were all placed there on purpose. They were all offered to the gods, the inner world.
What conception they have of broader world beyond that, we don't know.
Christopher Columbus was not an accident. His voyage into the New World were the result of many historical processes. By 1492, the last kingdom of Granada
I want y'all to pay close attention to what she's about to say.
Is won by the Christians. And it is actually at that point that Christopher Columbus is able to gain the support of Queen Isabella and King Ferdinand for his voyage to the New World.
What he was looking for above all was to become the founder of a good family, one that would have titles and privileges and renown down through the ages.
When we think of Columbus's first voyage, I mean, everyone knows Columbus sailed the ocean blue in 1492. He came with the Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria. But not everybody knows that the first shipwreck of the Americas was the Santa Maria. And the Santa Maria ran gently up onto a sandbar reef in present day.
Y'all heard right? The Santa Maria was the first shipwreck.
80. Well, they couldn't get the ship off the reef, so they had to make a decision.
Columbus was not able, with only the two smaller ships remaining, to bring everybody back to Spain.
They were able to actually use the materials from the now to build a fort called La Navidad.
And he left 39 men and he sailed off.
Columbus was of the idea that there was a lot of gold in that area. What he wanted to do was to have this fort over there so that they could start the trade with these people.
Everyone knew he was coming back. A little over a year later, he comes on the second voyage. He arrives at Navidad. What's he find? Smoldering timbers. Everyone's dead.
There was a doctor with the group who said they looked like they'd been dead about 2 weeks.
Columbus was thinking about trade, but the Spaniards were thinking about colonization. They actually started to demand some things from the indigenous people, and the indigenous people just...
See? They went in there for one thing and ended up doing another. So they took over their village. They was looking for colonization. Damn, I just messed up that word.
did not accept that.
Most probably it was the local Tainos who essentially finally decided they had to get rid of these people because they were too disruptive.
So he knows not to stay there. He elects to go down the coast where he had sailed a year prior in a matter of several days. It takes him 30 more days to make it 80 miles down the coastline. And he pulls into a place, a river, the Bajo Nico River that he had named. And he says, this is it. This is the settlement of Isabella.
They brought a priest, they brought some women, they brought animals, they brought everything they need for a full-fledged colonization.
The sort of backbone of the early Spanish colonial economy was the right to make demands on the labor of the Tainos.
If a Taino did not want to accept Christianity, that person...
Now, y'all know what movie kind of explains this a little bit, and y'all gonna laugh a little bit, but I would say Pocahontas, even though it's in a kid form, and they hit a lot of stuff, but I would say Pocahontas kind of explained it a little bit, because I'm gonna say that, I'm gonna be very honest with y'all. Me watching Pocahontas got me curious at a young age, and the first time I watched Pocahontas, it was on a VHS tape, and it was, I think it was 1995 or 1996. I watched it and it made me want to do my research. And you know what's crazy? Something that I notice now that I didn't notice back then. All this, I don't know, they're really like trying to erase the whole Arawak tribe, history and stuff like that. But I've noticed that, the Tainos come from the Arawak tribe, right? So was the Arawak tribe the first ones to find that colony, or what? No, I mean, not the Arawak tribe. Was the Arawak tribe the first ones in the colony, or was it the Tainos? Because I know that the Tainos come from the Arawak. So that's why we're going to be doing all this research. Because like I said, I know a lot of my history, but I don't know a lot. And as I'm doing these episodes and these videos, I'm also going to learn way more than what I've already learned. Wisdom is knowledge. Knowledge is wisdom.
Could be enslaved.
One of the major sources of the writings of Father Las Casas.
He had seen actually in Cuba rivers of blood, of all the indigenous people that were killed and massacred in the hands of the Spaniards.
They overworked the Tainos in the gold mines and the Spanish plantations. They took them away from their villages and their families.
You see how they overworked them, they enslaved them. They took over. They didn't. Christopher Columbus allegedly, supposedly wanted to do trade. I feel as though they had all the same thing in mind. The Europeans came and took over. These two, the Tainos and the Europeans, didn't know about each other. See, this is where the mixture came about. This is what we need y'all to know. We need y'all to really understand. So much racism, so much for what? Let's learn our history and teach it to our kids the right way, the way we were supposed to be taught, instead of talking shit.
Crucial points of the agricultural year.
From then on, we're going to see that there's going to be a major clashes, actually, in which many Spaniards actually died at the hands of the Tainos.
The trigger, at least as the story has come down to us, was when a Spaniard cut off a Taino's ear on a trumped up charge of theft.
The Spanish show up with hackbutt rifles, crossbows, horses with soldiers with lances.
But I would say that the most important weapon against the indigenous people was actually disease.
There are accounts of at least some Tainos killing their children and then committing suicide rather than trying to face a world in which they could no longer cope.
The annihilation of the
And let me break it down for y'all for what he just said. For those of y'all that don't understand, they did that, I guess, because they couldn't, figure out how to cure the diseases and everything. When the Europeans hit their land, they brought about the disease. The Indians didn't know nothing about that. They really didn't.
the culture of the Taino and right in through the Americas is well documented that small amounts of Spanish made huge influence because of their arms and their weapons and their tactics. They were there to conquer. They were there to make a conquest.
If you look at the major transformations in human history, and I don't care, give me a list, a short list, 5, 8, 10, 12, I don't care how many. You have to include in that list the unification of the old and new worlds into a single world.
That's what I've been saying the whole darn time.
After that, everything is different from the way it was before. People, plants, animals, diseases, ideas start moving all over the world in this sort of first great sweep of globalization, a word that's much bandied about nowadays. But the real globalization first occurs at the end of the 15th century. In a sense, they are the first people in the path of the hurricane. And they deserve our study and respect for that very reason.
And that's a fact. They deserve our respect. Are we giving them the respect? We talk about our ancestors so much, but we do not honor and respect them. We talk about Martin Luther King and Malcolm X, Rosa Parks, Josephine Baker, and all of them. But in reality, we do not honor and respect them. They gave sacrifices. They did what they did for a reason. Are we actually honoring and respecting them? Are we actually, finishing what they started? We're not. We're just sitting down and taking it. When the men the men decided to become, I can't even say the word right now, so I'm not even going to try it. But basically, they sacrificed their lives for us, and we can't even respect it. I should have left my hair alone. Guess what? It's staying like that. No, I gotta fix that shit. So we need to get it together. Okay, he just left his. Wait, is that his link? I'm not sure if he did. I will check it out. So I'm gonna leave this right here, guys. For those of y'all that are still in the chat, for those of y'all that catch the replay, y'all can actually hit that link. Because if y'all, the replay still shows the chat, so y'all can actually hit that link and check what the word is talking about. I will check it out as soon as I'm done the live. I'm guessing it has to do with this, and that's what I was about to jump into. For those of y'all that don't know the word, y'all can go check him out because his channel, he talks a lot about our history, tribes, and much more. Like, I love watching his channel because of that. Because knowledge is wisdom, wisdom is knowledge. Like, listen, he's got a lot of both. A lot of both for him to be as young as he is. Like, has so much knowledge about our history, about all the tribes and much more. Like I said today when I started, earlier when I started this live. And when, more people started coming in and stuff like that, I told y'all I did this because I want our kids to learn. So I'm going to show a couple videos today. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to start the first episode of our tribal history. I think I'm going to call it Writers for Life. So let's talk about it. Podcast reacts to our tribal history. So on each episode, we're going to talk about different tribes. And if people want to come up, they're more than welcome. I forgot to do this. I don't know if I did it, but I'm about to pin it. to go pin this real quick. So while I'm pinning this, let's continue to watch the video. Let's continue to watch the video. Let me put this book. Let's see. This book 12 years ago was 72,000. I bought it for 800. It's free now. Great starting point. Facts. Oh shit. So y'all really gotta go check it out. Did I put that? Yeah. All right. So let's get on to this next video real quick, because I do got to come out here and check on the people on the block party. Where is it? Oh, here we go. So once again, guys, for those of y'all that be like, oh, I'm just, I'm black, I'm African, I'm this. Listen, you Puerto Rican, you Dominican, you tied up to the both. You got Jamaican in you, you got African in you. So stop saying that you're neither or. Because if you was a real Puerto Rican or a real Dominican, you would know your history.
Human history forever. (1492), a date that will change the course of human history forever. From this point in history, events will jostle and transform, for better or for worse, the lives of human beings in the Americas, Europe, and Africa. This mountainous land in the middle of the Caribbean, where the Tainos lived, was no exception. Who were the first inhabitants of this land? In this first episode of our series on the history of Haiti, we will see where they came from. How did they live? We will see how it all started and also how and who will change everything in 1492.
Hi,
I
it's
forgot.
me,
Oh, I'm on
Jennifer
this YouTube
Lopez,
channel.
Chief Celebration Officer of Virgin Voyages.
The earliest evidence of human presence in the Americas dates back to at least 15,000 years ago during the last ice age. The theory is that people crossed a land bridge between Siberia and Alaska, known as Beringia, which was exposed due to lower sea levels. This land bridge connected Asia and North America.
That's a fact. The word says people find more was to separate themselves, not understanding that was the plan. Together we stronger, and that's a fact. United we can conquer, divided we crumble. Let me mute this real quick.
Allowing early humans to migrate from Asia to the Americas. Recent archaeological discoveries, such as the ancient footprints found on Canada's Pacific coast in 2018, suggest that humans may have arrived in the Americas earlier than previously thought, possibly as much as 15,000 years ago or even earlier. However, further research and analysis are needed to confirm these findings and to better understand the complex and dynamic history of human migration and settlement in the Americas. The first people to migrate to the Americas were likely nomadic hunter-gatherers who followed herds of large mammals, such as mammoths and bison, as they moved across the continent. These to migrate to the Americas were likely nomadic hunter-gatherers who followed herds of large mammals, such as mammoths and bison, as they moved across the continent. These early people had simple stone tools and relied on hunting and gathering for their subsistence. The island of Hispaniola, which is now divided between Haiti and the Dominican Republic, was first populated by indigenous peoples known as the Taino. The exact timing of the Taino arrival on the island is uncertain, but it is believed to have occurred around 5,000 years ago, based on archaeological evidence. Linguistic evidence suggests that the Taino people may have originated from the Arawak-speaking peoples of the Orinoco River region in South America. Some scholars believe that the Taino language evolved from an earlier Arawak language that was spoken in the region. Archaeological evidence also supports the theory that the Taino people migrated from South America to the Caribbean islands. Excavations of archaeological sites on the islands have revealed similarities in pottery styles, agricultural practices, and other cultural elements between the Taino and Arawak peoples of South America. It is believed that the Taino gradually settled on the islands of Hispaniola, Puerto Rico, Jamaica, and other nearby islands. Some scholars suggest that the Taino people may have arrived on the islands by canoe or raft, while others believe that they may have traveled on foot across land bridges that once connected the islands to South America. The Taino were a complex and sophisticated civilization with a rich culture and social organization. Their society was organized into chiefdoms, each with its own leader who
And for those of y'all that don't know, I'm not going to show the video right now though, but there's videos out there that will show the different places where the Tainos, to this day, they're still, here. We're not talking about descendants. We're talking about the original Tainos. To this day, y'all look it up. Y'all see, in Haiti, Jamaica, Puerto Rico, Colombia, Dominican Republic, in places like that. There's still certain countries in them cities. There's cities, I guess, whatever y'all want to call it. There's certain places in them cities where there's still actually some Indian Tainos. To this day, there's still a group, I guess. I'm not sure how it goes, but y'all can do your own research, come up with your own conclusions, and figure it out the same way we are all doing it. It's good to, learn, each one teach one. So I want y'all to know that there's still actually some real tribes out here that we don't know about. Go to YouTube, you'll find them.
oversaw the political, economic, and social affairs of their community. The chiefdoms were organized hierarchically, with each chiefdom having a supreme leader who oversaw a group of subordinate chiefs. One of the key features of Taino society was their complex agricultural system. The Taino on Hispaniola and other Caribbean islands cultivated a variety of crops, including maize, cassava, beans, and sweet potatoes. They also
What's funny is that's what the Europeans thought was actual gold.
Practiced fishing, hunting, and gathering, which were important sources of food and resources. The Taino were also skilled artisans and craftsmen, producing a wide variety of goods including pottery, textiles, carvings, and jewelry. They were skilled in weaving and spinning, and also made intricate wooden carvings and stone sculptures. Religion played a significant role in Taino society, with the Taino practicing a complex and nuanced belief system that included various deities and spirits. The Taino believed in a creator god, as well as a variety of other gods and goddesses associated with specific aspects of the natural world, such as the sun, moon, and sea.
True.
They also believed in the existence of spirits, including ancestral spirits, and had a complex system of rituals and ceremonies associated with their religious practices. Music and dance were also important parts of Taino culture, with the Taino using a variety of instruments including flutes, drums, and maracas. They also had a rich tradition of dance, with many dances associated with religious ceremonies or other important events.
But I want y'all to notice how there are different shades of black. I want y'all to really notice. So for all y'all Puerto Ricans and Dominicans, y'all wonder why a lot of y'all is so dark, why our hair is curly the way it is, man, go look up y'all roots. Please do me that favor and stop feeding our kids dumb shit.
But as the Taino thrive in their own world, their lives were about to be changed forever by a man born over 7,000 kilometers away from them. His name was Christopher Columbus.
How to kill all mosquitoes in the area in 90 seconds. This simple but brilliant trick you can do tonight.
Christopher Columbus was an
Yeah, that's a fact, young Riaz. We are all mixed. We are all mixed in so many ways.
Italian explorer born in Genoa, Italy, in 1451. He was the son of a wool weaver and had little formal education, but he was interested in geography and navigation from a young age. Columbus became a sailor at the age of 14, working on various ships and eventually becoming a captain. In 1477, Columbus moved to Portugal, where he began to develop his idea of finding a new route to Asia by sailing west across the Atlantic Ocean. He believed that by doing so, he could establish a lucrative trade route for the Spanish crown, which would help finance a Christian crusade to retake the Holy Land from Muslim control. In 1480,
but instead they ended up enslaving the motherfuckers, aping them and doing all this stuff, and people had to run. People, died. They had to protect themselves. These people came into their land with rifles, guns, and all these machinery. I'm messing up my word right now. That they knew nothing about. All they knew they had was little knives and weapons made out of stone, rocks, and all that stuff. Like, come on. But now that we got more knowledge, we need to get a better grip.
Before, Columbus presented his plan to King John II of Portugal, but the king rejected it. Columbus then turned to Spain, where he wanted to gain the support of King Ferdinand II and Queen Isabella I of Castile. On May 1st, 1486, permission having been granted, Columbus presented his plans to Queen Isabella, who, in turn, referred it to a committee. The learned men of Spain, like their counterparts in Portugal, replied that Columbus had grossly underestimated the distance to Asia. Despite this rejection, the sovereigns decide to take Columbus under their protection so that he does not sell his idea elsewhere, and also they can keep their options open. But after several years of lobbying, Columbus finally in 1492 received the approval of the monarchs to fund his voyage. After he received the approval of King Ferdinand and Queen Isabella to undertake his voyage, he began preparations for the expedition. Columbus spent several months gathering supplies and recruiting crew members for the voyage. The recruitment of the crew nonetheless poses some problems. Few people are willing to volunteer for this voyage. The Franciscan friar Antonio de Marchena plays a notable role, notably by allowing Columbus to meet and convince the Pinzon brothers.
Now, I want y'all to notice that around this time, whereas we thought that it was only natives, there were more than natives. As y'all could see, miles away from where all these natives lived at, they were Europeans, people from the Caucasian mountains, as y'all want to call them. Columbus and all of them were the people that took over.
Whose local influence is great. However, 4 prisoners, including one sentenced to death for murder, are pardoned and released from prison to complete the crew. Columbus' brother, Bartolomeo, who served as the captain of the ship Pinta, was also part of the crew. Another challenge Columbus faced was finding enough funding for the expedition. Although the Spanish monarchs agreed to fund the voyage, they provided only a portion of the necessary funds. Columbus had to raise the rest of the money by borrowing from wealthy friends and business associates.
Okay, I finally found what boosts my metabolism, and
I'm Puerto Rican, but I'm not proud of the Spanish side of my heritage. I am not proud at all. I am proud of the indigenous side of my heritage. I am proud of the Haitian and the Jamaican side of my heritage.
under Columbus's direct command. The Carrack, the Santa Maria, owned and captained by Juan de la Cosa, and under Columbus's direct command. The other two were smaller caravels, the Pinta and the Nina, piloted by the Pinzon brothers. About 90 men made up this crew. Columbus first sailed to the Canary Islands. There he restocked provisions and made repairs, then departed from San Sebastián de la Gomera on September 6th for what turned out to be a 5-week voyage across the ocean. The voyage was difficult, with the crew facing many challenges including storms. One of the most severe storms occurred on the night of September 13th, 1492, when the fleet was still in the Atlantic Ocean. The storm was so intense that the ships were separated, with the Pinta and the Nina drifting apart from the larger Santa Maria. The crew was terrified, and Columbus himself feared that they would all perish in the storm. However, the ships managed to survive, and they eventually regrouped after the storm passed. As they sailed westward, the crew faced also a constant struggle to maintain their supplies of food and water. They were forced to ration their provisions and rely on rainwater for drinking and cooking. The journey was physically and mentally grueling, and many of the crew members fell ill or died from sickness. According to Columbus's journal, 5 crew members died.
The sicknesses that they went and passed on to the Indians
during the voyage, but other sources suggest that the number may have been higher. Also, some crew members doubted Columbus' abilities as a navigator and disagreed with his decisions about how to proceed on the voyage. This led to mutinous behavior on several occasions, with some crew members threatening to overthrow Columbus and turn back to Spain. On October 7th, the crew spotted immense flocks of birds. On October 11th, Columbus changed the fleet's course to the west and sailed through the night, believing land was soon to be found. At around 2 o'clock the following morning, a lookout on the Pinta, Rodrigo de Triana, spotted land. The captain of the Pinta, Martin Alonso Pinzon, verified the sight of land and alerted Columbus. Columbus later maintained that he had already seen a light on the land a few hours earlier, thereby claiming for himself the lifetime pension promised by Ferdinand and Isabella to the first person to sight land. In the morning, Columbus and the Pinzon brothers took a boat and landed on a small island, Guanahani, known to the local Taino people. The navigator had his taking possession registered in the
Damn, I was on mute. Like, yo, and he's right. Like, Christopher Columbus was not, yo, if y'all notice, Christopher Columbus was not the first one to discover that land. And throughout the years, I've noticed that people, have said, oh, he's not the one, it was somebody else. As y'all can see right here on this little documentary, it says that the Pianzo, however you say their names, brothers were the first one to discover it. But Christopher Columbus alleged and said that he saw it before they did. They went on that little mission and stuff like that. But in reality, he wasn't the one that saw it. Like, his crew was about to give up and wanted to turn the ship around. So what Christopher Columbus did was change the route of where the ship was going, and they went towards another destination. But in reality, he wasn't the one who saw the light on the land. It was the Pianzo brother, whatever their names is. So he took credit for something that he didn't even do. Doesn't it remind y'all of something kind of like what they're doing here right now? They still do it in the government. They fight amongst each other to see who's going to be the first one to make it, who's going to be the first one to make more money, who's going to be the first one to kill somebody, like the first one to find the best way to kill the ops. They were Chinese who have traveled to that land. Chinese? Who's Chinese? No, they wasn't Chinese. They talked about Asia. See, all this is happening between I think the European island and Asia. Their destination was to Asia, but in the myth of their destination, they ended up discovering them islands. Let's go back.
The name of the Queen of Castile by the notary who accompanied them. He named it one of the names of Christ, San Salvador, and proclaimed himself as the Viceroy and Governor General. When Columbus and his crew arrived on Guanahani, they were greeted by a group of Taino people who came to the beach to welcome them. The Taino were curious about the newcomers, and they brought gifts of food and water to offer to the sailors. Columbus was struck by the beauty.
See, they welcomed them. This is why I tell y'all that this history right here with the Tainos, the Arawak, and the Christopher Columbus, the Europeans, let's make it the Europeans. Let's say Europeans, because Christopher Columbus wasn't who really discovered America. The Europeans, right? They took over this shit. But these people right here were nothing but nice. Who's the biggest bullies? Do I remind you of something? They do say the Americans are the biggest bullies.
And simplicity of the Taino way of life. He described them as peaceful and generous, and he wrote in his journal that they were the best people in the world and above all the gentlest. Columbus was impressed by the Tainos' agriculture, their skill in making pottery, and their simple but elegant houses. Despite the initial friendliness between the two groups, there were also significant cultural differences and misunderstandings. The Taino had no concept of land ownership, and they did not understand Columbus's claims of taking possession of their island in the name of the Spanish monarchs.
So basically, they took advantage. Complete advantage. They stole their land from underneath their noses. They stole our ancestors' lands from underneath their noses. And you know what we're doing? We're just sitting down like nothing. Like, it's cool. Go ahead. Keep killing us. Keep doing whatever. We're free slaves. We're not free. We're free slaves.
Columbus also had trouble communicating with the Taino, as he did not speak their language and had to rely on interpreters. Believing that he had reached the coasts of India, Columbus calls these natives Indians. Columbus was intrigued by the gold jewelry with which these Indians adorned themselves. He reports that, during this first contact, communicating by gestures, by dint of repetitions and despite some misunderstandings, the Tainos told them that gold was found in large quantities on a large island located to the southeast, inhabited by populations of cannibals that are hostile to them. On October 28th, Columbus landed on a large island indicated by the Tainos, in a bay now called Bay of Bariai. He gave the island, now Cuba, the name of Juana, in honor of the infant Don Juan, the son of the Catholic monarchs. On November 12th, the ship sailed.
Y'all see, right? They took over that first island and named it, and then they came and took over Colombia. Was it Cuba? Let me go back a little bit. I think it was Cuba.
Monarchs. On November 12th, the ship set sail again. On November 23rd, Columbus lost sight of the Pinta and accused Martin Alonso Pinzon of desertion.
You didn't
Do
go back?
this to clear out stuck poop fast.
Ew.
Did you know that diarrhea is actually a form of constipation?
In reality, 23rd, Columbus lost the island indicated by the Tainos in the southeast, inhabited by populations of cannibals that are hostile to them. On October 28th, Columbus landed on a large island indicated by the Tainos, in a bay now called Bay of Bariai. He gave the island, now Cuba, the name of Juana, in honor of the infant Don Juan, the son of the Catholic monarchs. On November 12th, the ship set sail again. On November 23rd, Columbus lost sight of the Pinta and accused Martin Alonso Pinzon of desertion. In reality, Pinzon had gone alone to explore the supposedly coveted land of Japan. Columbus returned to Cuba, where he heard about an island to the east called Bohio by the natives. He set sail again on December 4th, and on December 6th, he set foot on the island and baptized it with the name of Hispaniola, La Española, the Spaniard, because it reminded him of the campaigns of Castile. He has reached the island that its inhabitants called Haiti or Quisqueya. These were the two main names used by the Taino people for their homeland. Haiti meant land of high mountains, while Quisqueya meant mother of all lands.
I'm about to take the grill out. Let me just take the grill out. Not going to. All right, guys, that's just a little bit of the history, but as y'all can see, Christopher Columbus stole. For those of y'all that are still defending the Europeans or whatever, at the end of the day, this is our land. But if a lot of us know that these are our lands, why aren't we doing nothing? Why aren't we standing up? Is there more Europeans than us? I think there's more of us than them. But hey, whoever that 1%er is really has the whole world washed up. The majority of it, because we're free thinkers over here. You see where I'm coming from? So let me show y'all this last video. It's going, it's a little deep dive into a documentary. What happened? I was just watching the genre. Yeah. So I'm gonna play this video, right? And like I told y'all, wait, is it this one? It's not that one. Okay. I'm gonna show y'all that video on the next one, but there's a. Is it this one? Let's get into this. Just showed y'all that. What the hell is it? Give me 1 second, because for some reason I lost the video. All right. So I like the way that Shorty put down this little video. I want to show it to y'all, and I'm gonna end this live with this. And like I told y'all, we're gonna do our history. We're gonna do a reaction to our tribal history. We're gonna do episode 1 next week. We also got sex episodes next week. Writers for Life reacts to the sex episodes. Sex Crimes episode 2 next week. So we got both these podcasts on next week. If anybody wishes, to hop on, speak, give their opinions and much more, y'all more than welcome. And we're also going to start the crimes, police brutality, and much more. So let a Shorty know. Like I said, if y'all wish to hop on and speak, let's get on to the next video.
1503, Christopher Columbus sailed the Atlantic Ocean and discovered Puerto Rico during his second voyage. The Spaniards quickly conquered the area for economic and religious reasons. They were interested in the island because of its strategic geographic location. In 1508, colonization began under Juan Ponce de León. At the beginning, the Tainos held a relatively positive relationship with the Spaniards.
Y'all remember how it was mentioned before Juan Ponce de León?
These interactions were mainly between Agüeybaná I, a powerful Taino chief, and Ponce de León, who became the first governor of the island. However, after Agüeybaná I's death, the relationship between the Spanish and Tainos started to deteriorate. What began as a friendly encounter between the two parties soon turned into a discordant relationship when the Tainos' way of life was threatened by the Spanish. Therefore, the Tainos took a stand against the Spanish for their survival in what is now known as the Taino Rebellion of 1511. Brutality, violence, and oppression forced the natives to stand up against the Spanish. With the arrival of the Europeans to the Americas, an intense ideological debate began about whether to incorporate.
I want y'all to peep how she said it. The arrival of the Europeans to the Americas. See, the land that they stole from us. We need to wake the freak up and smell the coffee, real shit.
Expel or destroy the inhabitants of the territories that came under the control of the Spanish Empire. Queen Isabella issued the Royal Decree of 1503, justifying the subjugation and enslavement of the native population. It authorized war on them if they refused.
Yeah, that's the queen that everybody, Queen Elizabeth, Queen Isabella, Queen Isabel, as they want to call it.
Refused to convert to Christianity. The Spaniards forced the Tainos into an encomienda system while pressuring the conversion of Christianity upon them. Under this system, the encomenderos were responsible for a group of natives. They were evangelized and forced to do work labor in the gold mines. They were constantly exposed to disease and infections. The Spaniards would kill any Taino if they became old, weak, disobedient, or simply if they desired to. Because the Spanish considered the Taino inferior, they were labeled as property and had no rights, so the Spaniards felt entitled to do what they pleased.
See, they said the Tainos thought the Europeans to be inferior. See, if they would have known or figured out a way on how to beat them, I think they would have. See, a lot of us know how to fight the war that we're in, but too many are scared. Too many are scared to make that stand. Why? I don't know.
Pleased. As early as 1511, Fray Antonio de Montesinos argued against the inhumane treatment against the Tainos. Another one of the most famous critics of this system was Friar Bartolomé de las Casas. Friar Bartolomé de las Casas was a 16th century Spanish historian, social reformer, and Dominican friar. He became the first resident bishop of Chiapas, and the first.
Now, I want y'all to notice, right? Do y'all notice something? Right? The same as back then. It's no different now than what it was back then, right? Back then, you had a lot of white people that fought for, the people of color, as they call it, right? If I can't fix my hair now. They had a lot of white people that would help the people of color, as they would call it, right? Well, that was no different. They had a lot of Spaniards that would come and try to speak up for, the Tainos and stuff like that. But what happened? Nothing. They got, like right now, there's a lot of white people in the urban community that are considered black. Why? Because they're here with us in the urban community. They decide to either defend us, not talk bad about us, or decide to live the culture the way we live it. They get talked about, banned, and everything. So, like, in reality, a lot has not changed. What are we doing that we haven't woke up yet to make a difference, to make a change? Which we can if a lot of us stand up. There's too many of us sleeping still in bed. But you know what? For those of you that are asleep, sit a fucking bed.
Officially appointed protector of the Indians.
What we committed in the Indies stands out among the most unpardonable offenses ever committed against God and mankind.
Because of individuals such as de las Casas, The Burgos Laws of 1512 were created to limit the abuses of the indigenous population by the Spaniards in the Americas. The laws required fair treatment, such as fair pay, work, and religious training. Although these laws were created to halt the abuse of the Tainos, they were not enforced throughout the Americas due to the fact that the colonists did not find them beneficial to their goals. The Tainos' way of life took a drastic turn under Spanish rule. Tribes and families were torn apart. Women were raped, men and children killed, and villages destroyed. The Tainos did not consent to evangelization and cultural genocide. Many of them lost their will and desire to live. As a result, indigenous people were left with the option of either giving up their cultural identity or facing death. Many indigenous people choose the last one when they committed suicide.
Now I want y'all to see how they say that they were forced to give up their cultural identity. Basically give up who they were, where they came from, their roots and everything. And that's what they're trying to do now. You know, make us erase history. Let's say it like that. That's what they're trying to do now. Erase history. And it's a shame that back then they couldn't, but they lost their lives and we're still sitting here. Like, we're still here. We can sit here and make a difference if we unite.
Even mothers killed their children because they did not want them to live under slavery. Spanish conversion efforts were detrimental to the population. Despite their efforts, very few Tainos converted, while others resisted completely.
See, basically, you heard she said very few Tainos converted, while others just said, fuck it. They took their lives, they got killed, they didn't care, sacrificed. I'm not losing my life, I'm not losing my identity, I'm not losing my culture. And that's what's happening right now. Right now. History is repeating itself and nobody's paying attention.
Muchas naciones hispanoamericanas, donde los indígenas todavía hoy siguen siendo explotados, marginados y silenciados. Hay otras como
completely.
Muchas naciones hispanoamericanas.
He's saying in many Latin American nations today,
donde los indígenas todavía hoy siguen siendo explotados,
the natives are exploited, migrated, marginalized, and silenced.
Marginados y silenciados. Hay otras como
and others like Puerto Rico, people live unaware.
En Puerto Rico la gente vive enajenada, como fue hace 500 años.
Because it happened 500 years ago, and the Tainos are extinct. It does not affect us, but we're descendants, fools. Like, when the hell is people gonna start realizing we are descendants?
Afecta.
In order to escape their harsh reality, many Tainos fled to the mountains of Puerto Rico. There, with their new leader, Aguaymana II, or El Bravo, to guide them, the Tainos were ready to begin their defiant stance against the Spaniards. The Tainos resisted Spanish oppression, and their actions against them demonstrated that they were not going to stand passively. The Spaniards had technologies far more advanced.
Finally. But I want you to people how she said Spaniards had technology far more advanced. They were out there exploring the world, figuring things out, while the Tainos were settled in. They wasn't worried about the outside. They were just living their life.
Such as lances, swords, crossbow, and harquebus, an early type of musket. On the other hand, the natives' weapons were no match for the Spanish, but they were ready to fight. They were experts with the bow and arrow, and had extensive knowledge of the geography of Puerto Rico. This gave them an edge when carrying ambushes on their opponent. They would use canoes to move by water and go into remote...
That shows where knowledge is power, knowledge is wisdom, wisdom is knowledge.
...inaccessible areas in the mountains, where they knew that the Spanish could not get into.
Y'all even know Giovanni?
Tainos had the help of the Caribes, an indigenous people from the Lesser Antilles and the Caribbean, with a much more warlike mindset. Initially, they posed a threat to the Taino, but joined forces when both tribes realized that the threat the Spanish posed on their establishment was greater. Most Taino chiefs, also known as caciques, joined efforts to fight the Spanish as one. They convinced the villagers that the Spanish were not gods like they initially thought, which motivated them to fight. The Tainos began to non-stop attacks with guerrilla strategies for the next 8 years. Guerrilla warfare includes ambushes, sabotage, and raids to fight a larger and less mobile traditional military. Caciques united their villages to fight against the Spanish's harsh treatment of the Taino people. The rebellion began in 1511 when the
I want y'all to really peep how the Tainos united to fight this battle. Are we uniting? No, we're too worried about the color of our freaking skin. Like, if that's what matters. Do y'all know y'all roots? Do y'all know what our ancestors actually wanted? They wanted us to make a difference. They wanted us to finish what they started, but we left it. We abandoned it. We didn't give a fuck. We was worried about what the Europeans was giving us. Little movies in a box. It went from little movies in them little tiny, black and white screens to HD to, everything else. The computers, all this technology. That's what we gave up our culture for. We said, fuck our culture, fuck our roots, so that we could go ahead and enjoy this technology that at the end of the day is going to screw each and every one of us over. How many queens and kings are left that can actually raise our youth right? Let's be real.
Tainos killed Sotomayor, a high-ranking Spanish officer. In this attack, Spanish forces and villages were destroyed in a Taino attempt to force the Spanish into retreat. At the time of the
Blessings, Ethereal Royalty. I hope I said your name right. They said, we are avatars in a simulation. Your ancestry means nothing in the third dimension. This world is running on a script. Pure intent and astral projection are the only ways out. You're speaking on Terminator and Matrix type of way. I understand where you're coming from. I get you. I understand. And in a way, you're right. I'm going to say I agree with you on that.
rebellion, it is estimated that hundreds of Spanish fought against a force of thousands of Tainos. Even though the Spanish population was smaller than the Tainos, the Spanish had better weapons, which the Tainos did not have. This hindered the Taino from fighting for their land and safety. Regardless, Tainos had a successful attack in the month of June in 1513, where hundreds attacked Caparra, which was the headquarters of colonial government at the time. They killed and wounded various people and burned down the town church. Additionally, the Taino destroyed almost all the houses in the village. After the battle, Ponce de León sent all his men to fight the Tainos. The Tainos suffered defeat, and the rebellion is recorded to have ended here around 1518, even though sporadic attacks continued until 1529. Shortly after the battle, the Tainos were, once and for all, put under the encomienda system and slavery.
Yep. So that's why till this day, for those of you that don't know it, in each and every one of them places that they migrated to, Puerto Rico, Colombia, Brazil, Haiti, Jamaica, all them places that they migrated to, right? They're still Tainos. They're still the Arawak tribe. I'm trying to figure out, I'm doing a little more deeper research into the Arawak tribe because, like I said, we come from them. But I want y'all to realize, right, that unless we come together, we're not going to accomplish anything. This has been happening to us for years. We're still stuck in the same cycle. We're not going to make a difference because we don't believe in unity at all. Look at how they survived. So I want y'all to stop actually saying, no, we're not blacks, we're not this, we're not mixed, we're not none of that. Or because you're Puerto Rican this, or because you're black that. Enough of the division. We need to come together or they're going to fucking beat us again and force us into slavery. And it's going to be a lot of us trying to run, a lot of us trying to protect. And that's how it's going to be all over again. And this time we have knowledge. It's not like we was ignorant to the facts like our ancestors were, because they started off being ignorant to the facts, both sides. Only problem is that the Europeans had more experience with the world than our native ancestors. So guys, till next time, this is your shorty Rachel. Before I end the live, like on my next live, I hope, on episode 1 of our tribal history, I hope that, I get more people to come in, give their perspectives. They know a little more than what I'm saying. This is not a debate. This is for us to each one learn something. We got to learn something more than what we already know. If you don't know it, you learned it. If you knew it, well, pass it forward. So till next time, it's all the time that I have. I hope all of y'all have a blessed and humble day. I hope all of y'all continue to have a blessed and humble day. I want to take the time and thank all those that rocked out with a shorty today, because y'all didn't have to be here, but y'all was here with me. So thank you. And like I said, further on, once I get more subscribers and the monetization does happen, we're going to start doing a test and quizzes, giving our members cash prize giveaways for those that actually pass the quizzes and much more. We're going to be giving merchandise and all that. So I want to thank each and every one of y'all that has supported the shorty. Like, I'm doing this to bring awareness. I got my other channel where I go to and I speak more freely. Like, even though I have to watch what I say, I'm able to speak a little more freely. Here, I could just say whatever, but I still have to watch what I say. But over there, it's like I don't plan on getting that channel monetized at all. I want to be able to speak. So we're doing it both ways. And like I said, whatever we get back, we want to give. Whatever we get from here, we want to give back. So I hope y'all stay tuned. We will be having a podcast where we all going to talk. We're going to have a male perspective and a female perspective. I hope that y'all enjoyed this live stream and all the live streams to come. Till next time.